dalam BuzzPop hari ini kita bakal membedah dan membincangkan Ahsoka episod 7. Jadi para panelis kita malam ini terdiri daripada saya, Nadzru daripada BuzzPop TV, Kaki review kita, Hady Hamid, what's up bro?
Hi, what's up guys?
Seterusnya Darren Maung daripada StarWars Malaysia Fan Club, what's up Darren?
What's up?
Right. Dan seterusnya Kaki drama kita, Jamal Raslan, what's up bro?
Annyeonghaseyo.
Alright guys, so dengan itu jom kita mulakan perbincangan kita malam ini dengan reaksi satu ayat. Alright, so reaksi satu ayat. Personally, I did not really enjoy the episode this week. Jadi untuk semua panelis, so apakah pendapat anda tentang episod ketujuh siri Ahsoka yang berjudul Dreams and Madness? It felt a little bit slow. It's like a giant speed bump after the awesomeness of episode 5 and 6. So kita mulakan dengan Hady. Silakan Hady.
Alright, yes aku agree dengan Nick. Reaksi aku untuk the whole episode ni is a bit like a holdback from awesome episode kita dapat episode sebelum ni. I mean that if this episode is episode 3 atau episode 4, then I don't really mind. But this is a second last episode. So agak susah bila kau dah build up that momentum and suddenly kau hold back that momentum. Then it's like macam all your energy for this series akan focus on the last episode, which is quite risky sebenarnya. So yeah, kalau dekat dalam episode second last ni, if kalau korang tengoklah macam for example Game of Thrones kan, contohnya Game of Thrones always episode 9 is the big battle episode. Semua war, semua all the conflict semua diletak dekat episode 9. Then episode 10 will become a conclusion untuk orang macam settle back. Tapi ini episode 9, episode second last, episode 7, dia buat macam bagi kita hold back balik walaupun macam benda yang terjadi tapi terasa pacing dia slow. So all energy focus to episode 10, episode 8. So yeah, the expectation has become high, so kena hati-hati lah dengan benda tu. Alright.
Yes, ada potensi untuk let us down. Seterusnya Darren, apa pendapat kau tentang episode 7, Dreams and Madness?
Definitely kind of agree with Nick and Hady that I felt the pacing was definitely slow, but I'm kind of satisfied with the action they had, so it's not a total loss lah. But I think it kind of reminds me of the Mandalorian punya season 2 episode 6, which is also kind of slow paced, but it managed to, then the final episode managed to end up being such a banger. So it's not the only case. So I think I remember looking at one of Hady's Facebook punya posts. It says the conclusion better be this epic if episode 6 ended up being this episode 7 ended up being this slow. But yeah, not gonna lie, when the episode ended, I was like looking at the navigation bar, like, itu saja.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely slower. It was definitely shorter. I think that's probably one of Ahsoka's biggest flaws to me, is that it's like 8 episodes long. So
yeah,
the amount of effort is, it's not enough. No.
Alright, seterusnya Jamal, your thoughts about this week's episode?
Like apa yang semua orang cakap, aku setuju lah. And aku rasa kat dalam group kita, aku yang paling awal tengok kot. Tengok kat office. Pukul 11 pagi, harun betul. Because I was really looking forward to it. And then, funny story is that on Tuesday, I was like refreshing. Macam, asal tak keluar-keluar lagi? And then macam, why do I keep thinking today is Wednesday? Today is Tuesday lah, babi. So, lawak gila. Selamat aku tak message group. But anyway, when I was watching it, my one-liner is that it is an episode yang tak ada revelations. It progressed the story. Kalau macam on paper, okay, diorang jumpa Ezra reunited with Ahsoka, yay. Ahsoka kejar Sabine dengan jumpa Ezra, jumpa Thrawn, yay. Lepas tu Thrawn punya existing current plans, yay. And then actions, yay. Ahsoka lawan Balance Cole dapat tahu Ahsoka tak mati. And then Shin lawan Ezra, yay. On paper, semua tick tau. But I think it was how this is classic Dave Filoni where I think selagi benda tu kita tak nampak what is the big payoff atau what is the big destination, what is the big reason, the big why kat dalam the first season ni, it will never have that sense of like, oh no. And that was what episode 7 was lah. And no matter how much we speculate, all the previous oh wow moments were not wow moments in that sense. They were wow moments that are payoffs for those who had followed Rebels or the Clone Wars. So I feel if anyone watching this episode and then terus macam nak buat U-turn from episodes 5 and 6 atau macam nak mengatakan, see, I told you this season 1 wasn't that great, Andor is better because Andor 2/3 in or 2 episodes before the final dah jadi best gila, the stakes are heightened. These people will be cheering because this is the episode that we get at episode 7. So too bad for all of us. On the other hand though, one thing that I left, that I ended watching the episode thinking was, so now what will Filoni be doing for the last episode, and how will that, how much implications will that have on the film that he's going to be doing? And I feel this might just be one of those Filoni things where you cannot take it on its own. You have to take it on its entirety. And I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen well. 3 years down the road, we will still be talking about how, remember, kau ingat tak episod 7 Ahsoka season 1 macam sial, masuk episod 8, lepas tu macam shit, lepas tu went into the film macam wow, and then thankfully from that moment on, Star Wars macam steered their ship balik, and then Disney, Lucasfilm semua jadi okay balik. You never know. I'm not saying it will happen, but I was not there when it happened with the Clone Wars, so I'm very happy for those people who watch Clone Wars episode by episode, season by season, because you got that. So I don't know if this is going to be another version of that, and the only thing in common between these two is Filoni lah, so we can only pray just may the force be with us, lol.
Yeah man, aku pun hoping everything will tie up nicely. I think we must avoid ending macam Secret Invasion. I do not want
Apa tu?
ending macam Secret Invasion.
Apa tu?
Secret Invasion was so bad bro. So
Apa tu?
It's a secret. It's a secret.
It's a secret. Oh, it's a secret. Aku tak tahu. Okay. I'm not
So
supposed
secret,
to
no one wants to hear it.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to know. Okay.
alright guys. So untuk mereka yang ada soalan, kita akan jawab at the end of segmen kita yang seterusnya. Dengan itu kita bakal membincangkan 3 plot point menarik daripada episod minggu ini. Right, so segmen pertama kita bakal membincangkan tentang the cold opening. So untuk Jamal, aku ada soalan baru yang berkaitan dengan overlay picture yang ketiga tu. So Hady akan handle soalan Hady dan juga Jamal ni. So kita mulakan dengan soalan pertama. Hady, apakah pendapat anda tentang babak the trial of Hera Syndulla di Hosnian Prime yang feels a little bit contrived dan overly written ataupun lazily written? Dah lah, kita ada last minute, kita ada kehadiran C-3PO sebagai proxy Senator Leia Organa untuk menyelamatkan keadaan and let General Hera Syndulla off the hook. Baru je minggu lepas kita ungkit kenapa tak ada karakter OT dalam siri ni. So I got my wish. So silakan Hady.
Alright. Aku ada benda yang aku agree dan aku agak disagree pasal bila Nick sebut pasal lazy writing untuk this cold opening scene. Sebab personally bagi aku dalam banyak-banyak scene dekat dalam this episode, this is the best scene yang aku tonton dekat dalam episode ni. Because it shows how the politics in New Republic and I'm a sucker for politics in Star Wars. Sebab kalau kita tengok macam all the series macam Mandalorian and then Ahsoka, actually bila dia letak one episode ada ataupun macam each episode ke apa lah kan, dia ada selit-selit ke sikit something about the New Republic, aku suka. Macam dekat dalam The Mandalorian season 3 bila dia tunjuk how Carson Teva try to bongkar rahsia tentang the Empire Remnants, and then macam mana the Dr. Pershing punya kena kencing dengan dia punya kawan dia, supposed kawan dia, the whole thing lah. Macam Endor mungkin a bit ramai yang kurang berkenan sebab the whole series is all about the politics. So macam sometimes the politics can be such a boredom kan. Even Phantom of Menace pun ramai tak suka because of the but that's why that's the reason kenapa aku suka Phantom of Menace, because of the politics dekat dalam dekat dalam filem tu. Dan yes, of course bila sebut pasal Star Wars, orang akan sebut pasal lightsaber fight and then the war lah, apa semua, starship fighting apa semua tu. But politics still one of the core things in Star Wars sebenarnya, back in the novels, in the animated series. The politics sebenarnya yang menggerakkan siri Star Wars ni. That's why aku suka the cold opening, and aku agak, bila aku kata aku agree dan juga disagree tu, aku agree bila Nick kata it's a lazy writing, because aku tak faham function why Senator Ziono hentam kau-kau kat Ahsoka, dekat Hera, but the other senator macam duduk diam. Macam kau kenapa? That's the lazy writing yang aku agak tak suka lah. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, General Admiral Akbar pun ada kot dalam tu. Tapi sebelah Ziono, but dia tak cakap apa-apa. I mean, if this is how they want to show the fall of New Republic because of the arrogance and the stupidity of all the senators, sebab aku cuba relate balik lah kenapa dia orang bersikap macam tu. Maybe sebab dia orang ni dah terlalu lama berperang, dah terlalu lama sangat macam jadi rebellion. Dia orang sangat-sangat pandai handle dalam kokpit, dalam bagi arahan dekat kokpit. Tapi bila babitkan politik, bila duduk kat mahkamah, dia jadi kekok. Dia tak boleh. They cannot handle the politics. They can handle war, but they cannot handle the politics. Di situlah jadinya bila ada senator-senator macam Senator Ziono ni, dan juga the Empire Remnant yang good at war, not really Ziono lah, but the Empire Remnant yang good at war and also good in politics, macam Palpatine, macam Empire pun semua tu. That's why they still can win against the New Republic. So yeah, that's why kalau jadi kerajaan, you cannot be too nice and you cannot be too evil also. So macam it's a bit susah lah benda tu kan sebenarnya bila kau nak handle. But yeah, personally bagi aku, the cold opening, bila aku tengok, at least we got something that connect us to the original trilogies. Ada C-3PO is good, and then lepas tu kita faham kenapa Princess Leia tak ada, but at least diorang guna position ataupun watak Princess Leia. They acknowledge Princess Leia, Leia Organa punya role dekat dalam New Republic ni, and once a rebel, always a rebel. Dan Hera Syndulla sendiri pun dekat dalam Star Wars Rebels memang pernah bekerjasama dengan C-3PO, dan juga diorang memang pernah berjumpa dengan Leia Organa. Leia Organa basically the same age as Ezra Bridger. So memang overall aku totally okay dengan the opening scene. It's not an issue for me. And one more thing, kalau aku nak touch sikit, the Anakin hologram is super cool.
Yes, Jamal akan bincangkan lagi tentang the Anakin hologram nanti. Alright, soalan kedua adalah untuk Darren. Apakah pendapat anda tentang Senator Ziono ni? Banyak bising ya, sampai dia nak court martial Hera Syndulla. I mean, besides being the father to the hero Kazuda Ziono daripada siri animasi Star Wars Resistance yang aku tak tonton langsung, apakah lagi role Senator Ziono in the New Republic Senate? Is he secretly an Imperial Remnant sympathizer? Aku tak tahu sangat tentang law Senator Ziono, so silakan.
Okay, aku nak ikut, I'm going to follow up on Hady punya explanation on the lazy writing, the senator punya sikap pada mahkamah ni. Whether I think Hamada Ziono is a peer supervisor? No, he's just a stupid senator. He's just as stupid. Because actually I did watch Resistance. I did watch Resistance. If you looked at the very first episode of Resistance, Kazuda Ziono, dia dapat cakap dengan ayah dia. He wants to tell his dad, oh dad, I joined the resistance, I'm going to do some good. Tapi Hamada Ziono macam, son, you can do so much better. Why can't you be like us? Come back to Hosnian Prime. You can do. Don't join these delinquents. Itulah sikap dia. It's pretty much if you remember dekat Mandalorian season 3, it doesn't matter. Aku rasa macam senator ni, dia tak kisah whichever side they're on, as long as they're rich, they're living the life of bling. You know, it's greed lah basically. It's considered that Ziono ni macam the greediest of the greedy lah aku rasa. And then it even explained further dekat season 2 of Resistance, where you finally see Ziono's ugly face dekat animation ni. Further emphasize that he doesn't really want to support his son, because when he calls Kaz, that he wants to tell his son that he's being chased by bounty hunters. It's not for Kaz's safety, aku rasa. It's pretty much macam desperation lah. He wants to maintain his own image because, spoiler alert, Hamada Ziono, dia dapat hidup after the First Order destroyed Hosnian Prime. And even after that, after everything he lost, aku rasa dia memang desperate. So, I think that's what Dave Filoni is trying to do with this. He's basically building up to that douchebag of a senator.
Okay.
The Empire would probably think he's just too stupid for the job anyway.
And your thoughts about the nice callback to the ending of Mandalorian season 3, where dia memperlekehkan Gideon tu siapa? He's just a small sack. It's like gila babi though, that's it.
I mean, it also, that pretty much furthers the stupidity of Ziono lah. But I think it's also a nice, it's nice that we finally get to figure out where in the timeline Ahsoka takes place. So it's right after season 3 of The Mandalorian. Yeah.
Alright, so dengan itu kita akan ke soalan ketiga. Segmen ni adalah untuk Jamal. Apakah pendapat anda tentang the addition scene untuk cold opening, di mana dalam Brazil tu kita nampak Ahsoka was training sambil dengar recordings of dia punya cikgu Anakin, and the fact that she has 20 of those recordings and this was the last recording. Aku macam wow, dia still punya kaset somewhere in the galaxy far far away. It's pretty cool, disimpan dalam kotak kayu. Aku macam cantik lah. So your thoughts about this scene, silakan.
I think I didn't really think much when I saw this scene. I thought it was appropriate. Dia benda yang macam bila kau tengok, kau tak fikir banyak sebab kau tengok benda tu, your immediate reaction is to see whether it makes sense or not. And bila aku tengok benda tu, aku rasa macam, it makes sense. So I didn't really think and reflect about it. And then when I went to, biasa aku suka pergi Reddit. So bila aku tengok Reddit and choice YouTube content creators, diorang semua macam, wow, it's so cool watching Anakin again in this episode. We saw him last in 6 and then appear back as Anakin, and then Huyang dalam Huyang punya conversation with Ahsoka, dia kata, oh, he left this. So when I saw how a lot of people who are more invested lah in Star Wars, who are more invested in Anakin, Rebels, Clone Wars, Ahsoka ni, diorang suka the fact that Dave, you didn't have to do this. We did not need this scene. Okay? If you wanted to show Anakin, sebab kau dah bayar Hayden Christensen gaji dan kau nak tulis something yang kena mengenai Anakin, can you do something about, Ahsoka, you watch out, ada Baylan Skoll, blah 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 blah, orang macam Baylan Skoll ni hebat tapi kena jaga-jaga. You know, anything that can push the story or the plot further. But he didn't do that. He just took it as a moment where, okay, di Ahsoka kita dah tahu, okay, she's forgiven herself, she has learned her final lesson. And this is Ahsoka yang dah putih, yang dah okay. We don't really need to see that in this way. So when I saw that scene, bila aku reflect balik tengok komen kat Reddit, orang macam, a lot of people who are invested, they really like the scene a lot. Dia macam kata, this is great. And now Asajj Ventress is canon. Because Asukin petik Asajj Ventress ketul-ketul. And personally aku suka lah, because she's my, outside of Maul, I think I love her as a Sith because dia, Maul dengan Dooku adalah Sith yang betul-betul ada character. Like there is a lot of backstory and it's not just because aku nak power, you know. So I don't quite get it, because I was like looking at the scene macam, oh, this is pretty cool. Yalah, dalam mulut pergil kau nak buat apa, kau training lah kan. Aku pun tak tahu hyperspace jam tu berapa lama. But itu je Anakin cakap. So that was my reaction. And then bila Anakin tak cakap apa, kau macam okay lah, whatever. So I feel that when reading all these comments, I feel that Filoni, that is just one of the ways that Filoni is giving us fan service, and I don't know if it's fan service for fan service's sake. You know, orang yang suka benda ni akan defend kata dia petik Asajj Ventress, and Asajj Ventress becomes the second animated Star Wars character created in animation series yang dah jadi canon. Because walaupun dia tak appear in live action, dia dah pension in live action. So aku pula macam, that shouldn't be the only reason why you would need to have that scene. So I did not feel anything. I thought it was nicely done. You saw Ahsoka trading, and then you saw her changing. And my takeaway from that scene is the fact that Ahsoka was smiling. Her eyes were smiling in that scene. So, and it's very apparent throughout the entire episode that orang yang kata Ahsoka is too stoic, Rosario Dawson too stoic for like sepanjang Mandalorian, sepanjang Obi-Wan sampai sekarang, sampai at least first 4 episodes of this Ahsoka season 1. If you watch episode 7 and you still say Ahsoka too stoic, I do not know what you're watching, or maybe you've lost interest, which is very valid. Sebab she was smiling more, her eyes were smiling, her face seems warmer. Dia tak nampak serious. Dia nampak cheeky. The cheeky Ahsoka that made Anakin call her Snips. Tapi sekarang dia dah matang. So that was what I took away from that scene, and it did not leave a lot of impact to me. It's just on a last note, it's just another nice thing for us to think about Anakin, to think of Anakin with. Sebab up to this point, up to the final lesson, hanya orang yang tengok Clone Wars atau orang yang tengok Rebels je, atau orang tengok Clone Wars dia macam, oh Anakin ni macam ni, kesian kat Anakin. Okay lah, kita orang sayang Anakin. Too bad Anakin, but you still save the universe. And we don't really get to see how personal it was between Anakin and Ahsoka. So with one Ahsoka line that says, he recorded these videos and he left them for me. Kepada mereka yang macam, kalau tak cukup bukti yang Anakin ni baik, this is Filoni belanja lah. Cuma persoalan dia, perlu ke kita dibelanja dengan benda ni? Because at this point, bila Anakin bagi final lesson tu, aku rasa benda tu dah cukup. So I feel that scene was like, thanks, macam tu lah. Dia macam scene dalam Wheel of Time yang ada siapa tu mati, ada Aes Sedai tu mati, lepas tu yang laki semua tu duk tepuk tu kan. That was like, wow, this is really cool. Okay, thank you. Dia macam tu. Sama macam, it did not progress the plot. Whatever you tried to tell me about the structure of the Aes Sedai punya pendamping tu really made no difference. So aku rasa macam, whatever je lah. It's a nice touch, but for me, it's Filoni. I don't need this anymore from you. Faham tak? I don't begrudge you for doing it, but we don't need this, Filoni. We know it's you. Faham tak? You tak payah buat benda ni, kita tak kemaruk benda ni pun. So aku rasa macam that is an easily 5 minutes. That 5 minutes could have been something else.
Yeah, that's why macam episode ni dia macam so many things are happening, but ultimately it feels like a speed bump. And we only have like another 40 minutes left of this whole season. So
I think the final episode will be long lah. It will be 50 to 60 minutes lah. I hope.
Please lah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, like the opening was 1 hour. So yeah, let the ending also be 1 hour.
And Filoni memang ada habit buat macam tu So
yeah. Itulah. Alright, so kita ada 6 soalan menarik. Pertama adalah aku tak pandai baca Jawi. So BuzzPop, adakah cinta Ezra
Nama dia Jamal.
Okay.
Nick, sekali kau cakap nama dia aku tak pandai baca Jawi. Kebetulan memang dalam Jawi maksud dia adalah aku tak pandai baca Jawi. Itu lawak.
Sorry.
First name dia Jamal.
Soalan pertama daripada Jamal, adakah cinta Ezra dan Sabine akan berjaya dan anak mereka menjadi the first Force Mandalorian? Siapa nak menjawab?
Confirm dapat anak. Siapa nak jawab soalan ni?
Jamal.
Itulah sebab aku yang tanya soalan ni, aku jawab. Sebenarnya aku yang nak baca soalan tu kan kau tadi ni, sebab aku yang tanya soalan ni. Aku tak tahu diorang cinta ke tak. Aku rasa diorang platonic. Kalau korang tengok Rebels, diorang macam adik-beradik. Diorang macam dua orang yang lebih kurang sama baya, dua saing yang tak sangka akan jumpa diri masing-masing in the other person. Dia macam, aku tengok kau, Ezra kau poyo sial. Lepas tu Ezra tengok Sabine ni, kau ni jangan rebellious sangat boleh tak? Kau ingat kau seorang je pandai. But after 4 seasons, diorang macam, Okay, Ezra, aku appreciate kau. Sabine, kalau kau tak ada, aku rasa aku fuck up kot tadi. So dia jadi relationship yang macam tu. To the point that masuk season 5, the whole Rebels punya team, punya Ghost punya ship punya belief, kalau Sabine tak overcome dia punya Mandalorian punya ni, kalau Ezra tak overcome dia punya Jedi dengan dia punya Force punya tu, the entire Ghost akan hancur. Because that was how strong that the bond or between the two of them and how important they are to the Ghost. So diorang punya relationship macam tu lah. Cuma biasalah kita ni kalau tengok cerita yang ada lead male character, lead female character, dua-dua ada karisma, seorang handsome, seorang lawa, semua nak ship. Semua nak ship kan. So aku rasa macam diorang tak bercinta. Tapi kalau diorang bercinta, kita akan dapat balik Mandalorian yang force sensitive. Who knows? Then they are not the first Force Mandalorian. Dah pernah ada Force Mandalorian sebelum ni. Tak silap aku ada satu Jedi yang Mandalorian kan. I mean, yes. Vizsla lah. Yeah, the older Vizsla. So they are not the first lah. So jadi Jamal, the excitement is valid. Jadi silalah pergi cari Reddit punya subreddit yang ship Force sensitive Mandalorian dan pergilah lepak Reddit tu. Akan ada ramai orang macam kau dah support teori-teori kau.
Yes.
Okay? Thank you.
Betul.
Porcelorian.
Yeah, betul. Porcelorian. Alright, soalan kedua daripada Jamal bertanya, apakah pendapat panelis BuzzPop jika sequel trilogy adalah tentang New Republic versus The Mandalorians, far better than apa yang KK buat, kita dapat copy paste Rebels lawan Empire. I feel nasi dah jadi bubur. So actually apa yang Filoni buat ni ialah untuk membaiki sequel trilogy pula. In a roundabout way. Macam The Clone Wars was to fix the prequel trilogy bila dia buat antara 3 dengan 4, manakala siri-siri ni is trying to lead into the sequel trilogy by Hady, do you wanna
actually kalau dia tanya if what if kan, jika sequel trilogy tentang ini, jika sequel trilogy tentang itu, anything is better than the sequel trilogy sekarang ni. Tapi macam aku kalau nak sambung sikit apa yang ni cakap, bila Filoni dia cuba untuk membuatkan sequel trilogy lebih relevan daripada apa yang kita terima sebelum ni, is true. Because aku pernah nampak ada satu headline daripada mana aku tak masalah, dia kata macam Ahsoka dan juga the Filoni punya TV series, dia tak write off ataupun dia tak buang, dia tak di canon sequel trilogy, tapi dia buat sequel trilogy irrelevant. Bagi aku tak berapa setuju sangat, sebab yes, kalau kita nak tengok watak-watak dekat dalam TV series daripada Filoni, of course ada banyak watak yang sepatutnya boleh dikembangkan masuk pergi terus ke sequel trilogy, macam Grogu and then even Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra, apa semua watak-watak tu boleh muncul dekat dalam sequel trilogy. Tapi kenapa dia tak muncul? Itu je kita punya persoalan kan. So dekat dalam apa yang kita nampak daripada The Mandalorian sampai ke Ahsoka, apa yang Filoni buat is that dia cuba nak membina satu jabatan untuk orang boleh relate kan antara original trilogies pergi ke sequel trilogies. Macam apa ini katalah, Clone Wars try to make macam the prequel trilogy much more relevant, much more orang boleh suka, orang boleh enjoy, orang boleh tahu kenapa Anakin ni adalah the greatest Jedi General, Jedi Master. Kenapa Obi-Wan macam tu, kenapa semua macam ni. So the Clone Wars story tu menceritakanlah kehebatan-kehebatan semua Jedi ni. And dekat dalam Ahsoka, The Mandalorian pula, kita nampak macam ada beberapa kali diorang cuba tease ataupun diorang cuba bagi hint tentang sequel trilogy, which is kalau dekat dalam episod ni kita perasan bila Ezra tanya, so the Emperor died. Lepas tu macam Sabi kata, tu apa diorang cakap lah, aku tak tahu lah sama ada betul ke tak. So yes, that's how they make sequel trilogy relevant. Sebab dia create satu republic, satu kerajaan yang tak pasti sama ada Palpatine memang betul-betul mati ke tidak, sebab benda tu hanya mendapat, diorang hanya dapat fakta daripada Luke Skywalker sahaja. Tapi diorang sendiri pun tak clear. Dan sebenarnya ikutkan pun memang dekat dalam Star Wars Battlefront punya game, they already kembangkan the law tentang Palpatine yang sebenarnya tak mati lagi. Sebab that's why aku kata they make it to make sequel trilogy relevant. Sebab aku sendiri pun sampai terfikir, oh ya, kalau kalau fikirkan balik, memang sepatutnya seorang emperor yang dah mastermind the Clone Wars, dah mastermind semua perang, dah mastermind untuk nak jadi emperor sejak daripada zaman master dia lagi, dah Plagueis lagi, takkanlah dia tak ada backup plan kalau dia mati, kan? That's why itu yang masuk Operation Cinder bila dia plan to clone himself apa semua. Cuma yang kita geram in the sequel trilogy, there's no explanation. Dia just menggunakan somehow Palpatine itu macam tu. And then macam there's no direction. So a bit sedih, a bit macam rasa macam memalukan bila kau yang sepatutnya handle the trilogy, film trilogy yang untuk target mass audience, kau patut ada kau punya star map sendiri untuk buat all the connections kan. Then tapi apa yang kau buat is that episode 7 pengarah ni punya idea. Episode 7 pengarah ni punya idea. Masuk episode 8 pengarah ni punya idea. Totally ignore dia episode 7 punya. Lepas tu episode 9 totally ignore dia episode 8 punya. So semua tiga-tiga ni masing-masing ada kepala-kepala sendiri masing-masing tanpa direction. That's why sebenarnya kalau daripada awal dia bagi dekat maybe Filoni ke Favreau ke siapa-siapa lah yang satu kepala saja yang untuk handle all the connections in the Star Wars from original trilogy to the sequel trilogy, much more lagi relevant lagi sebenarnya. Dan itulah sebenarnya apa yang Filoni cuba buatkan. Dia tak cuba nak deny sequel trilogy, tapi dia cuba nak bagi tahu yang apa yang terjadi sebenarnya di dalam gap sewaktu episod sewaktu original trilogy dan juga sequel trilogy. So dekat tengah-tengah tu kosong, tak ada apa-apa. We just have the comic books, the novel from Marvel, apa benda semua tu. And then itulah fitnya timeline The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett. Dan kita faham kadang-kadang kita tak berapa suka kan kalau dia cuba nak bagi sequel trilogy tu relevant. It's okay, tak apa. Tapi during that conflict, that intrigues me to see how the story progress. So aku tertarik nak tahu what happened to Ahsoka, what happened to Dijarin, what happened to Grogu. So they create another whole new story yang tak perlu pun diorang nak ignore sequel. Diorang, kita sendiri je saja-saja yang akan rasa benda tu akan nak bagi sequel trilogy relevant. At least sekarang we just enjoy the story apa yang Filoni nak sampaikan.
Yes. Dan persoalan utama untuk aku ialah where is Cal Kestis when all this fucking thing is happening? Where the fuck?
Aku tak bayar lagi Jedi Survivor, so aku tak tahu ending
Okay.
macam mana.
Okay, at least there's good news. Actor Cal Kestis ni basically confirm there's going to be a third Jedi game.
Yes.
So
Okay. Oh, dia survive lah kiranya dalam Jedi Survivor. Okay.
Dia survive. Yeah. But yeah, he should be this timeline as well. Come on, Carl. Oh yeah, you were saying, Darren? Yeah, silakan.
Aku rasa, I think the point about shows making the sequels like better or what, I feel like that's what Resistance tried to do. But to be honest, I think Resistance ended up being better for itself, not the sequels, because other than Paul Dameron, the story didn't really line up well compared to, like, let's say the Clone Wars with the prequels or Rebels with the originals. Aku rasa Resistance just became good for itself. I don't think it did much for the sequels, in my opinion.
Which is probably why I enjoyed it to a certain degree, because I was not expecting it to do any of this extra work.
Exactly.
Yeah, macam tu lah.
And of
It's
course,
like,
and the animation appealed to me because I just wanted to see something fresh.
yeah, I feel
Not to
like
mention-
Star Wars.
Not to mention the animation was done by us Malaysians, lah. You know, I have a soft spot for that.
That's cool. Personally, I feel Star Wars Resistance siri animasi ni dia lebih kurang macam Deep Space Nine, the DS9 of Star Trek, di mana it was just on its own. It's not a ship, it's not going anywhere, it's just on its own. So samalah yang ni pun Resistance ni, dia on a pocket planet, dia tak kisah whatever happened to Hosnian Prime, whatever. So macam tu lah. Alright, soalan seterusnya ada daripada Caleb Paul untuk Darren. Question to Darren. Dave Filoni, is he planning to make a live action Clone Wars? So silakan.
I have seen this post pop up so many times, but unfortunately, I believe it's fake. I believe it's fake news. So unfortunately, I mean, I looked up Google. If Dave Filoni is intending to make a live action Clone Wars movie, I would have seen the news. but none of the major news sites are reporting on it. So unfortunately, this may very well be fake news. I mean, and also, why make more? We have an entire cartoon series already.
7 seasons
Yep,
of
yep.
it already.
7
So
seasons.
a bit macam redundant sikit lah kan bila diorang nak buat
This-
live action.
yeah. This would be like the Disney remake version of.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of the Disney live action remakes. We don't need it.
Unless
already at
unless I
7
think if they want to make like macam the Clone Wars kan ada the Clone Wars animated movie kan when they trying to save Jabba the Hutt punya anak ke apa benda tak. Yeah, unless if they want to make that kind of movie yang ada the certain mission, then buat as live action. But I don't think it's too integral to whole story lah. Sebab kau
We
dah
have
dapat
seen, like-
banyak lah dalam Clone Wars.
Yeah, we've seen like so much of Ahsoka already. I feel like we've already learned enough of her from the Clone Wars animated series itself. So I think there's really no point to make a live action Clone Wars.
Yeah.
As awesome as it would be. I mean,
I think
if they want to tell, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I much more prefer if in Ahsoka season 2 ke or anything lah, any series, they just dedicate one episode focus on the Clone Wars flashback. I think that one is much better, like how they did in Ahsoka episode 5.
Yeah, and I feel like if they really want to tell like more other stories set in the Clone Wars, Tales of the Jedi season 2 is confirmed already, so we're definitely gonna get more of that.
Yeah, so untuk mereka yang tak sure, yes, that was a fake poster. It's a fan art. It's not actual. Yang gambar like kita nampak snips dengan Anakin together. Yeah, that's not real. Alright, seterusnya soalan daripada Nasi Goreng yang bertanya, Star Wars Resistance ni, is it also a product of Dave Filoni?
Is it not?
I'm not
He
It is lah, I
started
think.
it, tapi he wasn't majorly involved in it in the end.
Yeah.
Oh.
Basically,
This
It
is
is-
the creator juga kan?
dia macam it is something that it is something that he doesn't take credit for. Or it is something that you don't credit Filoni for.
Okay, cool. Seterusnya kita ada soalan daripada Jamal juga. Looks like Jamal ni is a shipper. Dia memang suka ship. So, adakah Shin
Jamal.
Hati bakal menjadi isteri Luke Skywalker untuk menggantikan
Wow.
Mara Jade?
Oh yo.
Tamara J.
Aku rasa mesti dia punya first reaction is like, fresh meat.
Tak, aku rasa
Yo,
mungkin Jamal ni
yo.
adalah contoh fan. Inilah contoh fan space opera yang kita perlukan. Inilah
Yes,
opera
aku setuju
angkasa. Inilah
True,
kisah
true,
yang
true.
patutnya.
Aku tak terfikir Shin Hati semua raja, tapi dia fikir makes it interesting.
Inilah cerita-cerita yang kita patut baca dan dengar dan tonton dalam space opera seperti Star Wars ni. Tak. Okay, my answer is tak.
Let's leave. I personally think we should just let.
But
We just leave.
Ini Jamal.
Apa dia Darren?
I think we should just leave Luke's love story to the expanded universe already lah. I think they've complicated things for him already.
Okay, jawapannya tak. Tetapi don't be surprised jikalau the second coming of KK, harapnya dia tak datang balik lah. Dia tak ada second coming. Dia belah je lah. But don't be surprised if ever there was a second coming of KK, and that second coming, the first thing she does is, I would like to redress and fix the sequel trilogy. Don't be surprised if some shit like this might happen.
Dia sebenarnya
I am not laughing because it's wrong. I'm just like gila babi left field soalan ni. So benda-benda
Yeah.
left field ni dia macam bila dia tak ada presiden, dia tak ada macam breadcrumbs daripada legends ke, daripada game ke, mana-mana ke, dia jadi macam wow, macam tu lah. But kalau kau tanya soalan ni in the sense lah, what if as an idea, what
Yeah.
if let's entertain the idea of Shin Hati jadi isteri Luke Skywalker. Macam Hady cakap, it's a pretty interesting thing to be thinking about. Macam, yeah. Just jangan kawan dengan KK lah Jamal jangan kawan dengan KK. Right.
Tapi kan kalau perasan Filoni ni dia memang ikutkan ada banyak watak-watak daripada Legends yang dia cuba nak bawa masuk dekat dalam canon. Tapi memang ada salah satu benda juga yang macam dia tak boleh nak ubah the canon story yang memang dia orang dah terus hapuskan daripada dia dah masukkan terus pergi ke Legend, which is Luke Skywalker punya Jedi Order tu. Itu memang aku rasa Filoni sendiri pun mungkin dia dah tak boleh nak buat apa-apa. Dia sendiri kena akur dan dia kena buat juga benda tu. Macam kita nampak dekat dalam sequel trilogy bila Luke dia still menggunakan Jedi Order yang lama, which is no attachment, tak boleh berkahwin lah apa semua, which yang membawa kepada kemusnahan Jedi Order sendiri. And lepas tu dekat dalam The Mandalorian Season 3 bila dia train Grogu, Boba Fett bila dia train Grogu pun, is it Boba Fett? Boba Fett. Dia bila dia train Grogu, dia sendiri kata dekat Grogu, which yang kau nak choose jadi Mandalorian atau kau nak choose jadi Jedi, which is dalam extended universe, dalam Legends dia ubah benda tu, dia ubah Jedi Order. Dia tak buat macam apa yang Jedi buat.
A new Jedi Order.
New Jedi Order. Kau boleh kahwin, kau boleh ada anak, kau boleh bercinta, tak ada masalah. Kau boleh ada attachment. Then is flourish much more better lah kan than the older Jedi Order. Tapi dekat dalam ni, itu yang lots of fans of Star Wars complaints, benda yang daripada Legends, benda yang sepatutnya canon tapi dia legend kan. Dan sampai Filoni pun pening kepala, dia dah tak boleh nak buat apa sebab the principle of Luke Skywalker totally different than apa yang dia cuba sampaikan dalam Return of the Jedi. Sebab basically dalam Return of the Jedi pun dia nampak dia macam nak ke arah dark side tu sebenarnya, tapi lepas tu dia berpaling-balikkan ke light side. Dan the whole motive is that sebenarnya. The whole motive is that dia nak ubah the Jedi Order. And what's the point pun bila kau dampak kalau kau sendiri realize is that Jedi Order yang lama memusnahkan the Jedi itself, and then kau nak buat the whole same thing. And worst to worst now, apa yang Disney and Lucasfilm and KK cuba buat is giving the role of Luke Skywalker dalam Legends yang nak buat New Jedi Order, they give it to who? They give it to Rey. Akan ada filem Rey nanti.
Dah lah dia bukan setakat they give it to Rey, which as an idea, it's not the worst thing on earth. That's not the worst thing in Star Wars. They give it to Rey tanpa sebab. Sebab Rey tiba-tiba ambil, lepas tu kata I am a Skywalker. Like, dia bukan macam, Rey ni sebenarnya adalah connection dengan entah siapa dulu, whatever. Spiritually, it's a spiritual hair sebab mungkin dia cucu Obi-Wan Kenobi ke. Tak. Dia just ambil macam, Rey, dia ada connection dengan Palpatine. She's a Palpatine. Lepas tu tiba-tiba, yang betul-betul bertembung dan directly opposing to the Skywalker punya lineage. Okay, itulah yang akan menjadi the next Skywalker yang akan merubah Jedi Order. So bila kau tengok dari segi angle tu, it's about somebody yang tak semestinya dah, walaupun dia mungkin membesar dengan IP ni, it is somebody coming into the IP and say, okay, what can we do that is new, that is interesting, that is different, that is fresh, that can, that can shake up the whole universe. And macam, bila dah shake up macam ni baru jadi interesting sebab ada banyak benda baru. So dia seolah-olah kau buat benda baru demi for the sake of doing something new. There is no connection, the whole thing about legacy dah hilang, Tapi if you, this is what a lot of people, yang orang yang banyak argue dulu sampai Star Wars fandom jadi toxic, especially post episode 8. Episode 7 okay lagi, episode 8 keluar, this is the reason why. Whatever Hady cakap tadi, that is it. Bila dia kata dah tak konsisten dengan Luke, orang-orang yang support benda ni, aku tak nak question why they support it. For all I know, they just have a different taste, they see Luke differently, they see things differently, and they are able to, for themselves, justify why Luke change. Sebab dia kata, mungkin Luke kata, kalau bapa aku macam ni sebab dia nak open, lepas tu tapi dia tak boleh open, last dia konflik dalam diri, lepas tu dia lawan Jedi, sebab itulah dia jadi Darth Vader. Cuba kalau Jedi kata boleh kahwin, mesti dia tak jadi macam Vader. You never know, you tak tahu pun. The story about Luke is very specific. He lost his mother first, and then Padme happened. That's it, okay? So kau tak boleh gunakan macam sebab itulah anak dia nak lawan. Sebab itulah kita kena ubah. And then you cannot use that to justify, oh, so it's still the same look. Because that's the look that you want to see. But that's not the look that had always been. Because if that was the look that had always been, that ending in The Empire Strikes Back the ending of episode 6 will not be what it is. He will not say the things that he said. Because there's a lot of reconciliation. Sebab tu dia nak buat New Jedi Order. Because he understands what is good and important about Jedi, but what went wrong with them. Hence, the New Jedi Order. And he only did that because he knows aku anak Anakin Skywalker. Kalau aku anak Dooku ke, aku anak Obi-Wan ke, he might not necessarily have done that. Jadi bila orang nak justify benda ni, dari segi cerita, it makes sense tak? Memang make sense pun. Nobody saying it is. But you cannot deny orang-orang yang dah follow daripada 70-an, 80-an, dia tengok Luke sekilas pandang episod 8 tu, this doesn't really feel like Luke. So kalau kau kata, oh korang ni tak baru, then you have just admitted, one, you make change for the sake of change, and dua, you dismiss orang-orang ni yang dah follow fandom dah lama ni, just because for the sake of something new. Lepas tu kau kata, oh, mana ada aku kutuk fandom, mana aku kutuk fan lama. But this is not saying about you lah. This is saying masa zaman orang duk gaduh, masa episode 8 lo. So this is the back and forth. So what Hady says is right. Because it is, Luke dah buat New Jedi Order, dia dah cakap. So bila you do episode 8 yang betul-betul terbalik, and you do not explain that in that one film, and you never really wanted to pun sebenarnya, kau tak kisah. Sebab, why, let go of the past kan. Anybody can be a Jedi. Then that's you. That is clearly the you, the KK ke director ke Ryan Johnson ke siapa ke buat. So it's this kind of things that fandom notices, yang macam aku yang tak tahu apa-apa sangat macam, yep, this is why I go Reddit. This is why I watch Star Wars videos. Because there are dudes out there that didn't just read the Legends books. They read, dia dah khatam 18 kali, dia dah buat book club, dia dah buat fan fiction dia sendiri. Then dia tahu benda tu inside out, depan belakang, back and forth. Dia dah tahu dah. So the moment karakter lari sikit je, macam, yeah, this is not consistent. This is just, it's not whether you can or cannot do. Obviously you can because you've done it, but no, it's not for me. So don't begrudge me being very passionate about telling you why it's not for me and why it's not for many of us. So itu je lah. But I mean, kita bukan Disney, kita seimbang je. So lel.
Aku rasa the one thing yang aku sedih that we lost by the Legends not becoming canon ialah the fact that by the time of the New Jedi Order, the Force is seen as a spectrum where it's not about the light side or the dark side. You can be a Jedi, but you can still do Force lightning. Itu bukan maksudnya kau dah fallen to the dark side. It's just a tool that kau guna as part of the Force. So I think that is the one thing that we have lost, unfortunately. Alright, so last 3 questions. Darren, ada apa-apa nak tambah?
I think for me, the one thing that we truly lost from Legends is how awesome the New Republic is. I mean, I kind of like what they're doing. It's pretty much relatable to today's politics, but honestly, I really miss how evolved the New Republic is. They managed to actually become more prominent and more competent than what we have now. So yeah, I feel that's for mine.
Sebab this is why Lucas, ingat tak dulu masa episode 9 keluar, betul orang kata, oh Star Wars bukan cerita political. Endor keluar, that narrative came again, Star Wars bukan cerita political. Betul ada orang ambil yang crawling text tu. Macam kata, ni ada tulis political dia benda. So anyway, apa yang dia cakap tu it's cool sebab the reason why the Empire is the Empire is because of the name Empire. And kalau kau tengok banyak video clip interview Lucas, dia suka cakap macam dia sangat terkesan dengan sejarah. Dia sangat terkesan dengan, oh Empire ni buat macam ni, there's this historical figure buat macam ni, ada culture hilang, the world has changed, civilization changed, and then there's so many stories inside there. So Star Wars is him telling that story, creating a world that is very much like our world, which is why Star Wars is so relatable, tapi in space, so we can watch it, we let go of everything that is in reality, enjoy it as a film, but kita immediately connect. Sebab kita tak payah, walaupun dia bagi banyak information overload, dia cerita tiba-tiba ada mamak ni, ada Jedi, ada Force, kita tak pening kepala sebab kita tengok, kita faham. Oh ada, yang ni ibarat Amerika ke, ini ibarat kuasa dunia yang macam ni. So that's how good Lucas is. So bila dia buat macam tu and dia bagi nama Empire, that is why Empire is Empire. And the reason why all these rebels and fighting happen is because they do not want the Empire to be on the top anymore. They want it to be a different kind of ruling, which is the New Republic. So when you don't show people yang Luke Skywalker mati, yang Anakin mati, semua orang mati-mati di sini, semua Empire punya kerja. Sebab apa? Kita tak nak Empire dah. Kita nak Republic. Lepas tu you tak tunjuk Republic yang dah dapat tu, lepas semua orang menang tu, you tak tunjuk Republic tu apa. So kita tak tahu cerita what did Luke die for contohnya, or rather what did Anakin die for. We didn't see that. So this is what Darren means. Like, so after all that story and we got the New Republic, now when you want to do something new, you completely forgo the New Republic. Let's go tell another Jedi story. No, we don't. It's not just about the Jedi. The entire fucking universe is about the Republic, the Empire going to the Republic, going into whatever that's coming next. So kita nak kena tengok everything in its entirety. Baru dia jadi best. Baru Jedi tu ada grounding. Tapi itulah. Macam I like Darren's point yang kata we did not get to see the New Republic. So you get a lot of, kau boleh tengok orang-orang yang dulu dalam Ghost dan tak payah jadi rebels dah, tak payah jadi Ghost dah. But they are actually doing the Lord's work. You know, they are hired by the New Republic to go do stuff and clean up. So to make the New Republic a better place for everyone. Those kind of stories are very inspiring, which is, you know, the story that Lucas wants to do lah. Kita dah overcome semua adversity ni, lepas ni kita jadi apa? Kita jadi lebih baik. Kalau kita gagal tak apa, anak didik kita jadi lebih baik. Kalau dia gagal, anak didik dia jadi lebih baik. Faham tak? That is Star Wars. That is why people stay and watch this.
Itulah. Masalahnya sekarang pentadbirannya tidak gitu.
Betul lah.
And then ada banyak leakages. Custom Teva kesian lah. Banyak type by bureaucracy.
Betul lah.
That's one thing I don't like about Disney Star Wars. Memang corporate sangat.
Dia jadi meta kot. Dia punya corporate kat luar, dia sampai corporate kat dalam. Kita kena court martial dia. Kita kena court martial dia. Betul, kena ada droid datang.
Tarik balik. Bodoh sihat. Alright. Kita ada 4 soalan terakhir daripada Capit bertanya. Adakah nanti akan ada movie Star Wars tentang The Old Republic dan adakah nanti villain dia Darth Malgus? Setakat ini The Old Republic masihlah di dalam Legends dan tidak canon. Tapi mereka akan buat satu filem Dawn of the Jedi, iaitu 26,000 tahun sebelum episod 4 New Hope. Kemudian kita akan ada The High Republic, siri baru tahun depan tentang The Acolyte. The High Republic adalah about 100-150 tahun sebelum Star Wars A New Hope. So itu adalah zaman kegemilangan Jedi, the Golden Age of Jedi, but nearing the end of the Golden Age of the Jedi, just before Empire, the rise of the Empire. So nothing about Old Republic yet, tapi kita ada The High Republic dan kita ada The Dawn of Jedi. So hopefully
at least they acknowledge the Old Republic in their new timeline lah. So there's hope for that.
There is hope for that, yeah, because the Old Republic sekarang wujud di dalam official timeline oleh Lucasfilm. Alright, seterusnya Nasi Goreng bertanya, Kathleen Kennedy ni sebenarnya asal daripada mana kejaya dia sebelum dia pegang Star Wars? Basically, Kathleen Kennedy is one of the first hires ataupun intern yang bekerja di Lucasfilm Studios ketika zaman kegemilangan.
Guna budak intern.
Lucas dan juga dia macam ni lah, dia macam kau buat startup. George Lucas dengan Steven Spielberg baru buat startup, nama dia Lucasfilm. So ni intern hari pertama ni, nama dia Kathleen Kennedy. Dia hanya pandai buat kopi, tapi she followed every fucking production tau, daripada the trilogy Indiana Jones, kejayaan, kemudian kita nampak Jurassic Park. She was integral di sebalik tabir. Dia buat kopi, dia tolong diorang masa hurricane tu, I think. So intern ni bagus. So berdekat-dekat intern ni, akhir dia jadi presiden Lucasfilm. So macam tu lah.
Don't trust your intern, man. Come on.
Everybody got to start somewhere, man. So dia juga, I think she is married to one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood.
Frank Marshall.
Ya, apa macam Frank Marshall lah.
So kabel intern ni dah besar daripada zaman 70-an dulu dia intern. sekarang dia dah presiden Lucasfilm dia dah kahwin dengan Kremashi lagi. So apa kita belajar kalau jadi intern, kena kahwin orang yang betul, kabel kena besar, kena kenal orang-orang yang penting. Baru
So aku rasa kalau Anakin dia send KK ni kalau nak bagi dia trigger, bagi dia kopi lah. So dia buat kopi.
Jadi intern-intern yang tengah tengok bedah ni, kalau korang terasa kan hidup korang susah jadi intern, percaya intern boleh berjaya. Kan Kathleen Kennedy boleh jadi presiden kat Lucasfilm, Anakin boleh jadi you know the savior of the universe.
Ya, betul.
Semuanya bermula dengan internship, bro.
Ya, yang penting kau kena kahwin dengan producer juga.
Kau kena kahwin dengan producer yang macam cerita Hindustan juga. Siapa yang kau kahwin dalam Hollywood tu penting. Kabel.
Hey.
Semoga terjawab soalan nasi goreng. Okay, seterusnya last two question. Muhammad Hazim bertanya, adakah Tron akan mati atau tewas dalam last episode? I don't think so. He's too good a villain. I think he will continue on into series Mandalorian season 4. Maybe kita akan tengok Book of Boba Fett season 2. Maybe ada Ahsoka season 2. It will all tie up into the 2025 film oleh Dave Filoni, dan aku rasa kat situ baru dia mati.
Ni aku nak tambah, kalau dia nak tunjuk Tron mati, tolonglah make the last episode next week atau whenever Tron appears again. Dia takkan mati sekarang sebab dia mati dalam buku dia. Tron akan mati on his own terms in the Heir of the Empire punya story tu. So I think it's going to be there lah. It's not going to happen now. Dia akan mati dengan penuh bergaya.
Yes, ultimate. Alright, soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini adalah daripada Muhammad Hazim yang bertanya, mana Wan? Wan sekarang dia dah naik paus, dia dah pergi ke universe yang lain. Dia dah tak ada dalam Star Wars. Dia sekarang dah Gundam all the way. Dia busy sangat dengan business Gundam dia. So dia pun dah tak jawab phone call aku dah 2 bulan dah, so aku tak tahu dekat mana.
He's become one with the Gundam.
He has become one with the Gundam, yeah. Hopefully nanti Wan akan datang join kita untuk review Endor.
Jangan kau. Dia sekarang dekat Endor, dia tengah menjalankan misi.
Macam tu lah kan. Alright, so dengan itu berakhirlah segmen pertama kita. Kemudian kita akan ke plot menarik kita yang kedua. Alright, so plot menarik kita yang kedua adalah tentang NIGHTSISTERS Dark Magic yang dijanjikan. Alright, so aku ada satu soalan je untuk semua panelis. Apakah ataupun adakah anda disappointed apabila the Dark Magic yang digembar-gemburkan oleh Grand Admiral Thrawn minggu lepas sekadar hanyalah teknologi radar 3 jari bersambung together untuk mencari Ahsoka yang sedang menyorok di kalangan asteroid field sahaja. I mean, kita juga tengok yang Enoch ni dia macam middle management lah, duduk depan screen buat zoom call dengan Tron. Oh ya, saya akan hantar mereka ke sana. Macam dia tak pernah beraksi tu. I'm seriously getting Captain Phasma punya vibes daripada Enoch sekarang ni. So kita mulakan dengan Hady. Apakah pendapat kau? Silakan.
Aku rasa tak banyak apa aku nak sentuh pasal benda ni, which is sebab aku rasakan the expectation daripada yang episod sebelum ni kita dah agak build up kan, tapi lepas tu apa yang which is aku tak realise sebenarnya that is actually the dark magic that they use. Sebab macam daripada episod sebelum ni when Tron kata okay I need to borrow ataupun nak minta tolong kau untuk gunakan dark magic lagi. So macam okay, dan lepas tu dalam episod ni it's like macam the whole episode and then the whole Great Mothers punya storyline tu is just macam helping Tron macam tu je. So kita tak nampak lah the dark magic tu, kita tak nampak secara literal lah benda tu kan, but at least it helps a bit Tron bila dia nak kena, sebab the Great Mothers tu ada interrupt waktu Ahsoka dengan Sabine try to fast connect tu, so dah ada interrupt sikit, which is bagi aku agak cool juga sebenarnya benda tu. Tapi yalah, the whole thing sebenarnya dia duration adalah pendek this episode, so aku mengharapkan ada something yang lebih lagi daripada lore tentang the NIGHTSISTERS daripada the Great Mothers ni. maybe diorang boleh explain lebih detail lagi why they want to ally with Tron, kenapa, apa diorang punya motif, apa diorang punya relevant terhadap this whole Ahsoka series, tapi tak ada benda tu. Itu yang aku kata, benda bila nak sumbat nanti kan dekat semua, dekat episod terakhir, takut terlalu banyak, terlalu cram dan takut benda-benda tu semua jadi berkecamuk kan. So yeah, overall bagi aku it's not that interesting pun untuk this plot point tentang NIGHTSISTERS dekat dalam episod ni, which is sebab memang tak ada apa-apa. But Enoch, I cannot stay mad at Enoch, man. Walaupun dia middleman, tapi the way dia bercakap, the way dia muncul tu pun aku dah rasa macam this guy, dia just standing there pun is much more badass than Captain Phasma lah.
Dia literally, dia buat Zoom call je this episode. Dia macam, baik cik, baik saya akan hantar mereka sekarang cik. That's it bro. Captain Phasma pun at least turun padang. Okay? Captain Phasma tembak-tembak. Okay? Tak turun padang.
And Phasma got a novel and a comic as well. And dia somehow Enoch. Dia somehow Enoch's the better character.
Betul lah kan. So itulah, hopefully we got much more Enoch punya action in the last episode lah. Maybe dia. Itulah aku kadang-kadang agak bengang sikit simpan kan. Takut nanti Cang bila simpan sampai ujung-ujung tak banyak pula benda yang dia nak bagi. Just hopefully dia tak dicampak ke dalam trash chute macam mana yang Captain Phasma kena lah.
Trash compactor.
Ya.
Okay, seterusnya silakan. Darren, your thoughts about the NIGHTSISTERS and Enoch?
NIGHTSISTERS and Enoch, yeah. I was really hoping more from the NIGHTSISTERS sebenarnya lah. More than just they're used as live radar for Tron. I mean, it's cool that while Ahsoka was trying to communicate with Sabine, the NIGHTSISTERS also managed to detect her also lah. I think that was cool, but personally I would have wanted to see more of the NIGHTSISTER punya magic. I mean, you don't even see the green punya fire. I wanted to see that in live action.
Yeah, I think I hope by episode 8 we will get to see that. Seterusnya silakan Jamal. Your thoughts?
Aku rasa macam a bit of a letdown lah. I think this is where dia macam ni. Storytellers yang macam Filoni yang sangat pandai main pacing, yang sangat pandai subvert expectations, sangat pandai bagi space for characters to interact, and then daripada characters to interact, character tu yang bawa cerita tu, and then character tu yang reveal the plot. So dia follow the plot, tapi dia let the character, it's character driven. Dia bukan plot driven macam mula-mula ni jadi, lepas tu ni jadi, lepas tu ni jadi. So orang macam Dave Filoni ni, dia suka buat cerita yang episod 6, episod 7 bersambung, and then episod 8 when you expect dia nak sambung lagi, dia akan tukar. Dia akan pergi ke a different place, another different part yang kita dah lupa 3 episod lepas sebab kita terlalu caught up in the last 2 episodes. So dia pandai main pacing macam tu. So I had the feeling that after episode 6, the thing that he would do is either one, to pergi dekat dadak Magick and tunjuk sebenarnya Night Troopers ni semua zombie, or macam cerita pasal Thrawn, atau macam pergi balik to the other side of the galaxy and maybe on Hera punya side. Mungkin dia jumpa something. So when the episode started with Hera punya court martial punya review tu, I thought macam, yep, standard Filoni. Kau dah bagi kita 5, lepas tu 6 kau sambung, and then kita dah hype gila, okay, next episode Ahsoka sampai, dia dah masuk perut paus. Lepas tu start episode, okay, mana paus, mana Ahsoka, mana, faham tak? Dia kacau kita punya expectation. So dia naikkan lagi kita punya suspense, but at the same time dia main dengan benda tu, dia main tarik tali sikit, and then dia still sambung cerita lain. So plot thread, subplot yang lain-lain dia still jalan. So when he did that, I thought he was doing that, and I thought, okay, then episode 7 ni mesti ada fight scene, and akan ada scene yang revelation di mana dia akan cakap benda yang kita tak nampak atau dia tak fokus. And I was expecting that to be the Night Troopers macam sebenarnya ni zombie, and then in that scene kita nampak yang Thrawn explain lah dekat Morgan ke Elizabeth nama dia, yang this is what happened for the last how many years yang Ezra bawa aku suruh kat sini. Alih-alih the only revelation in that sense was Thrawn kata kita bazir masa diorang, bagi diorang lawan kat sana sambil kita buat transport ni. So I thought he would have explained in that exact same scene what were they transporting and then relate it to the dark magic. But Filoni did neither. So that is why this episode dia rasa macam because he was not even teasing. He's just like macam tak payah cerita benda ni. At least in this episode. Yeah. So macam, why dude? Like you just did this whole thing about apa kita bazir masa dia orang, pada muka dia orang. We don't lose any troops. The troops are probably zombies pun, tapi kita punya loading dah nak habis dan kita boleh belah besok atau kita boleh belah sekejap lagi. Cakap lah kau loading apa benda sial. So faham tak? Dia tak bagi benda tu. So bila kau dapat, instead you get the scene where dia buat zoom call, kau rasa macam, oh zoom call ke? Alright. Yang kau tak payah tunjuk pun. Kau cakap je tadi ada sistur lain dia zoom kejap, dia cakap Ahsoka dah nak sampai. So you can just say it, you don't have to show it. So this was a bit macam off for me lah. So masa part ni aku buat kerja, aku tengok macam whatever. Aku macam for 5 minutes aku abaikan. So I mean like kurang agak kurang this particular part. If the episode had something else as well, then I wouldn't have minded. But for me this part was like
Yeah. Darren, silakan Darren.
I just thought of something. I feel like that the co-opening tadi, the center scene, I feel like Dave Filoni originally intended that for the Rangers of the New Republic series. So I think this is one way for him to like cram it into the Ahsoka series, because that series is probably not going to happen.
Yeah, sadly, yeah, I think anything with Carson Teva after this will be the Rangers of the New Republic punya supposed series.
So we will have Carson Teva, Hera, Syndulla, all the pilots semua dekat dalam tu lah. Wah, nice.
Yeah, hopefully lah. Tapi tak ada Gina Carano bro. Sedih tak ada Gina Carano. Alright, so kita hanya ada satu soalan untuk segmen ini daripada Jamal juga yang bertanya, apakah pendapat sekiranya Dave Filoni beri treatment yang lebih baik untuk The Knights of Ren? Mungkin kemunculan dalam projek-projek akan datang. I think masa Mamat Marok tu yang follower Balin tu mula-mula keluar, semua orang macam there's a Knight of Ren guys. Tapi tengoknya rupanya dia sajalah green dust monster. So kita tak tahu apa jadi dengan Marok. Nobody talks about Marok anymore. 3 episodes later lepas dia mati.
Night Sister punya ni, Night Sister punya magic tu.
Ya ke? Betul-lah. I wish Balin or Shin would say like, alamak rugilah Marok mati kat planet tadi tu. It's like nobody talk about Marok. He just died. Just like that.
Kita ingatkan dia adalah plot line, rupanya dia hanyalah punchline juga.
Lol.
Macam tu lah. But yeah,
I would say
cool. Yeah.
I would say if you want a proper Knights of Ren story, actually the Marvel comic is exploring the origin, the first Knights of Ren, the original trilogy. They are actually, they already existed like during the original trilogy. So if you want like at least origin story, you can read the Marvel comics.
Wow, nice. Alright.
Ya, ada comic memang ada.
That's cool. Kalau korang nak tahu lagi tentang Knights of Ren, do check out Marvel Comics. Alright, kita ada soalan bonus. Capik bertanya, adakah Darth Vader masih hidup dalam series Ahsoka ataupun dalam timeline The Mandalorian? Jawapannya tidak, kerana series basically The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, semua ni adalah 6 tahun selepas Return of the Jedi. So Darth Vader mati di penghujung filem Return of the Jedi. So this is 6 years after that. So no more Vader. Hanya Force Ghost Anakin dia ada.
Yes. And aku rasa this dia dah confirmkan kan this episode yang is after Mandalorian season 3.
Yep, pasal dia cakap tentang The Gideon punya finale di hujung Mandalorian season 3. Alright, soalan bonus yang kedua daripada Nasi Goreng yang bertanya, Knights of the Republic, game yang bakal di remake yang tak siap tu pasal apa? Is it from BioWare? I'm not really sure.
Studio problems, basically.
Yeah. I think it was from BioWare, wasn't it, Darren?
Yeah, it was from BioWare. Tapi the remake was going to be done by someone else. But then I think a bit of the typical game development problems happened, and then the project is just pretty much in limbo right now.
Alright. Okay, seterusnya kita ada soalan bonus daripada Matrul yang bertanya, panelis Gen V minggu depan tak bedah ke? Baru 1 hingga 3 episod akan rilis esok.
Yeah.
dah dapat rating 100%. I think aku dengan Hady
Yes.
akan mula review minggu depan. Kita
Start
kena
bila?
cari satu
Ingat.
hari. Dia start hari Jumaat ni.
Tahu tak kita punya bedah tu yang kau punya schedule tu, tak ingat?
It's very dependent on availability of semua orang. So it could be Sunday night, it could be Monday night. Atas nanti kita akan confirmkan. But yes, definitely
Kita
aku
kena
dan
hype
Hady
up Ahsoka dulu.
and satu lagi panelis akan cover Gen V. Don't worry.
Kecuali saya lah, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, tak apa.
Yeah, you
You
should watch The
Yeah.
Boys.
The Boys 3 season and then go into Gen V. Alright guys, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke plot menarik kita yang terakhir. Tentang semua benda yang berlaku di PERIDEA after the cold opening and then the Zoom calls. So kita ada 3 soalan. Soalan pertama dalam tu Hady. Apakah pendapat anda tentang the fact bahawa Sabine still menyorokkan how she work with balance call semata-mata to get to this galaxy, to PERIDEA, untuk mencari Ezra Bridger. Dia macam dia tengah main dengan perasaan Ezra Bridger ke apa? Dia tak nak cakap yang aku terpaksa bekerjasama dengan orang jahat semata-mata untuk jumpa you. So apa pendapat kenapa dia berat hati sangat nak reveal ni?
Aku bila makin lama makin aku tengok this series, the watak Sabine tu, sebenarnya dia patut jadi the most hated character tau in the series tau. Actually memang kalau tengok watak dia dibikin macam tu untuk bagi orang benci, tapi mungkin sebabkan dia lawa so orang tak benci sangat. Tapi sebab apa? Everything that's happening since the beginning semuanya daripada dia punya kesilapan tau, daripada decision dia. Decision tu silap tak silap tu belakang cerita lah, tapi semuanya jadi memang daripada dia punya keputusan. Bila dia awal-awal episod dia ambil that maps and then lepas tu kalah dengan Shin Hati, the enemy dapat that maps. And then lepas tu dia juga yang biarkan balance call baca the maps and then get the coordinates to PERIDEA dan left the galaxy yang duduk pergi ke another galaxy jumpa Tron apa semua. Now sekarang dia juga yang jadi macam penyebab kenapa balance call dan juga Shinati boleh jumpa Ezra dan nak bunuh Ezra dengan dia, sebab dia pergi jumpa Ezra. So basically semuanya sebab dia. Semua tu memang sebab dia. So aku rasakan macam no wonder lah sebenarnya Ahsoka tinggalkan dia daripada jadi Padawan tu, sebab memang she is really rebellious. Dia memang sangat-sangat rebellious. Cuma kalau aku macam nak nitpick sikit lah benda ni, aku agak tak berapa suka sebenarnya benda ni. Tapi yelah, this is memang for the sake of story lah, kalau tak susah dia nak buat kan. It's like macam bila dua cerita yang Tron kata dia tak tahu kat mana Ezra, and then lepas tu suddenly bila dia releasekan Sabine pergi cari Ezra, suddenly dia tengok senang je jumpa Ezra. It's macam Tron, kau tak ni, kau satu planet je kot dengan dia. Takkanlah susah sangat kan nak cari kan. So maybe lah kalau dia nak guna benda tu, maybe it's because the force ke apa benda ke, I don't know lah kan. And yeah, the reason why kenapa dia terus macam tak berapa nak bercerita sangat dengan Ezra, because she messed up. Aku rasa kalau Ezra tahu pun mungkin Ezra akan akan marah dengan dia ke apa, but maybe tak juga, sebab Ezra pun memang sangat-sangat well known selalu buat masalah dekat dalam Rebels. That's why kalau perasan dekat dalam episod ni pun, kalau ada orang tanya why Ezra is like that, kenapa dia macam bila semua stormtrooper nak tembak dia cakap kata boleh tak kita cakap dulu, because he is a con artist first before Jedi tau. Dia always talk his way out dekat mana-mana battle. Jadi sebelum dia gaduh lawan lightsaber, dia akan cuba bercakap dengan the enemy dulu untuk elak daripada pergaduhan. So samalah juga macam dengan Sabine ni pun sama, dia rebellious. Dia cuma Sabine beza dengan Ezra, dia memang selalu menggunakan attack first dan talk. So memang is a very pure Mandalorian punya traits lah kan. So aku rasakan macam Seven punca semua ni. Tapi disebabkan Seven lawa, tapi tak apalah. Susah lah.
Ini masalah cinggir ni.
Cinggir. Memang cinggir masalah.
Itulah kan. Alright, soalan kedua adalah untuk Darren ya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang plot armor menjadi watak utama untuk episod ini ya? I mean, there was 3 instances. Kita nampak yang Hu Yang was piloting a plane ataupun a starship alone with no gunner at the back, and then dia tak kena tembak langsung. I mean, what the hell, man? You have 3 different ships shooting on your ass with no gunners, and dia tak kena like at least berasap sikit ke, ataupun like wingtip kena apa-apa ke. And then the second instance was Ezra dan Sabine. Dia tak kena flash wound langsung by even one night trooper yang dah circle dia orang. Teruk gila sial night troopers ni, you know. And then the third one was Shin Hati not being able to land even one strike on Ezra, Sabine or Ahsoka. I feel like she was super nerfed in this episode. So apakah pendapat anda tentang plot armor, the main star?
At this point, when it comes to plot armor, I cannot question already. Like ever since the original trilogy, why are the stormtroopers such terrible aims? Like somehow Jar Jar Binks is alive until episode 1. So like the first instance I get that, right? Especially when after the battle's over, it's like, hey, what happened to the Street Fighters? Who yang kena tembak dia? Like, yeah, I understand that one. Second one is tak kena flash wound. I think it's the same thing. I didn't particularly notice the plot armor because again, if I question the plot armor dekat sini, I probably going back to episode 4 juga, like, how come Han Solo semua tak kena flash wound langsung? Because despite all the stormtroopers dekat tu. So probably I didn't really think about the plot armor back then. The third one, aku rasa, I don't really think Shin Hati kena nerf sangat because from the first episode, yeah, she managed to like fight Sabine. They managed to tikam dia. That's because Sabine at that point, dia memang inexperienced. But now Sabine has learned her lesson. She knows Sabine is very crafty. She's very smart. She pretty much learned her lesson. So aku agak maybe this time she's been able to fight Shin Hati better. Plus Ezra's with her. She's not alone in this fight. And then when it comes to Ahsoka, I think pretty much what I thought about episode 1 was, because if you remember dekat episode 1, Shin Hati terus lari the moment Ahsoka arrived. She knows she cannot handle Ahsoka. She's not a master level like Ahsoka is. So at this point, now we've realized why. Because Ahsoka proved to us that she can handle Shin Hati without ever using her lightsabers, because Shin Hati is at that level. So in my opinion, the third case, the plot armor is not there. Shin Hati was definitely inexperienced.
Alright, siapa lagi nak tambah tentang elemen plot armor dalam episod ni? Ataupun should I just go to the third question? Alright, cool. Soalan terakhir untuk segmen ni adalah untuk Jamal. Apakah pendapat anda tentang pilihan Ezra Bridger untuk tidak menggunakan lightsaber, instead use the force in a pacifist way, pasal dia dah lepak dengan those naughty punya guys for a long time? Dan apakah plan sebenar Baylan? He was very contemplative dalam episod ni, macam Shin, kau dah nak pergi, jangan jadi orang fall to the dark side sangat, Abah dah nak pergi dan ni. So aku macam, what the fuck ni?
What do you want? We need to know what do you want?
Baylan did nothing this episode. Abah nak pergi, itu je. So apa pendapat kau? Silakan.
Aku rasa skrip yang dialog atau skrip untuk Baylan tu, part tu adalah Dave Filoni cuba nak kutuk Rian Johnson dengan menulis dialog-dialog karakter yang acah-acah deep, lepas tu macam muka serius, tu macam ada meaning tapi sebenarnya tak ada benda pun. Tak ada, saja gurau. Sorry Rian Johnson, memang aku tak suka kau punya episod ni. Dan aku rasa kau poyo. Anyway, doesn't matter, I'm not as good as you. Aku rasa going back to siapa nama ni, kenapa Ezra tak nak pakai saber, my personal theory is this. Ezra, if you watch Rebels, Ezra is a very self-aware kid. And we all, before Kanan took him in to train as a Jedi, or before Kanan started giving him the Jedi training, after knowing that he is force sensitive, Ezra needed to prove himself worthy of the training. Not and by showing that he can work with the team, that as he needs to harness and hone his instincts to be better and not rush into making decisions. Lepas tu kena fikir orang belakang. And then bila dia dah start belajar training dia, Kanan helps him develop this self-awareness. And that is until Ezra jadi terror, sampai tahap dia boleh panggil space whales dan bawa lari dan command the space whales to catch Thrawn. Because if you all remember the ending of season 8, that wasn't just dia tarik space whales, dia tarik space whales and then space bawa kapal tu pergi. Tak, he actually commanded the space whales tu datang, captured Thrawn, locked him in his ship, and then semua ramai-ramai pergi hyperspace jump away. So that arc of Ezra is an arc that is set on his self-awareness, di mana dia adalah, sebab dia kena duduk seorang-seorang, he was alone, he was independent, macam Sabine, where dia jadi orang yang street smart, tapi dia tahu yang dia ada anger issues, dan dia tahu dan that anger issues akan take him to the dark side a little bit. So Kanan played on that self-awareness. So this is Ezra's punya arc tau. Whatever Ezra punya development as a character, tak kisah whatever age, it will always be based on this ability to become self-aware and like, okay, self-reflect. Lepas tu macam, okay, aku tak patut buat macam ni, aku tak patut buat macam ni. So Alhamdulillah dia jumpa Kanan gave him a lot of discipline, and the Ghost gave him a lot of stability emotionally and give him a sense of purpose. So for me, bila aku tengok Ezra macam, I don't need the lightsaber, for me it is proof of what he has continued doing after landing at PERIDEA yang kita semua tak nampak. Where bila aku bawa pergil tu bawa bila aku guna pergil, bila aku bawa pergil untuk pergi ke PERIDEA, tak apa. Anyway, bila dia pergi ke PERIDEA tu, it is him making the first big adult decision of his life. I want to save everybody, and this is something that only I can do. And Kanan dah sacrifice diri dia sebelum ni, so it is my turn now to do something similar. So that is his maturity. That last act is the completion of Rebels as a story. Ezra punya cerita dah habis kat situ. Alright? And then at this point, bila apa yang kita nampak adalah, okay, bila Ezra dah jadi budak yang dah matang tu, yang boleh buat sacrifice macam tu, yang dah boleh harness his really strong force to do that, how did he go? Adakah dia duduk kat situ 10 tahun, lepas tu dia marah, bodoh lah aku ni, sekarang aku tengah sunyi seorang-seorang? Ke dia akan jadi orang macam grumpy macam tu ke dia jadi orang yang macam happy dan tenang dan whatever. And we pay off tu adalah benda tu lah. Bila dia sampai, Sabine tanya dia, kata macam, I never stop waiting for you guys, I knew you guys would come one day. And then he made friends with people, very peaceful creatures. And then he has eschewed this whole, aku nak lawan dulu, aku nak gaduh dulu, aku nak follow insting aku nak buat dulu. Dia dah move on from that. That Ezra is no longer ni. And how you see it is when, bila dia kata tu lah, dulu dia nak lawan, dia nak, kalau korang tengok Rebels, korang ingat, I want my, bila aku boleh pegang lightsaber, bila aku boleh pegang lightsaber aku. And then when he got his first lightsaber, he was so excited with it, and then he was fumbling over it, and then he made it into his, because he's the mechanic creator kan, dia buat lightsaber yang pada aku agak cool, tapi sebab dia budak, design dia tak cantik. But that was him like, yay, now this is me, give it to me now, this is my responsibility, I want to do this. So sekarang dia macam dah, the lightsaber is not needed for him to prove that he is good already, because I can do it. Kau nak aku lawan pakai tangan, kau nak aku lawan pakai force, I can do it. I don't need the lightsaber to fight, to do this, to save everyone, because it's never about the lightsaber, it's never about the sword, it's never about the fighting. It is about me and how well I know myself and how well I can use the force. So for me, when that scene bila dia decline tu, that was the start of Sabine's arc, yang macam, okay, Sabine sekarang dia dah rasa macam dia akan lalu jalan yang sama dengan macam Ezra, sebab dia jumpa Ahsoka. And Ahsoka kata, I'm going to take you in as my Padawan. So that moment for me was very nice, because you see that they have something beyond whatever they shared in Ghost, which was Sabine keluar daripada Mandalore, and then diorang jumpa Ezra, and then Ghost tiba-tiba, okay, kita rebels, kita kena buat something nak selamatkan dunia ni, we have to save them. So now as adults, Ezra kata, okay, my path dah settle, So Sabine yang tak jumpa dia nak buat apa lagi sebab dia bersedih dalam 10 tahun tu Ezra dah blah, Ezra tak ada. So this is her start. So that moment for me, that was how I saw it. It's very important. And it is in a very Sabine and Ezra way. Hey, pedang kau ambil lah. No, I don't need it. No, take it. So it's like, apa benda ni? Oh, so it's like that. So that's how I saw the scene. And the payoff for us is that bila dia start lawan, kita tengok dia lawan, memanglah tak terror sangat. Dia elak ke apa benda ke, and then dia elak rambut dia kena ni. And then when he did that shit, we know, yo, dude, tak ramai orang boleh buat benda ni, sial. Kau boleh buat benda ni, kau training kat PERIDEA seorang-seorang, tak ada orang, kau nak tak lawan orang lain kecuali zombie first tu. How the fuck, man? That is the payoff. So the moment we see that, orang yang tengok Rebels dia macam, okay, this is what this episode is all about. Tapi benda tu macam, kita tengok lah. A lot of things happen, but it feels as if it's a huge speech bump, when that moment should have been macam, wow! So, that is probably why. But for me, that was how I took it. When that is proof that Ezra, dia dah complete dia punya lesson, whatever the lesson that Kanan Jarrus owed him, whatever he needed to learn, he has made peace with it. He has made peace with the fact that kalau tak ada orang cari dia dekat PERIDEA ni, dia redha je. Sebab he has figured out lah. You know? And I think that was a beautiful way of showing it lah. Because kalau you tunjuk dekat dalam animated series, you wouldn't feel it as much. Tapi dia bagi kau benda ni kat live action. Again, we don't know. I personally, I don't know I wanted this. Tapi bila aku tengok benda tu, this is pretty sweet, man. So bila kau tengok, bila diorang dua lawan, in fact, kalau kau tengok the last 2 season of Rebels, the arc was showing more Sabine and less Ezra. Because Sabine was having the dark saber, and she was fighting. Kan, dia kena menang benda tu. And Ezra was still that boy yang macam, what kind of Jedi do I really want to be? And then dia jumpa holocron, and then macam, shit, you know, aku nak jadi baik ke, aku nak jadi jahat. And then the last hurrah, because Ezra was actually the lead character, dia was the one that saved everyone with the Pergil. So now benda ni dah terbalik. Kau nampak tak? So kau nampak the story of seorang yang dah redha, dia hilang 10 tahun, and the other person not being able to accept that she lost her friend for 10 years, yang bukan kerana salah dia pun. So this is 2 very different characters, and they juxtapose this very nicely. So this is why Sabine needed to go to PERIDEA, if you ask me. This is why Sabine yang sepatutnya jadi orang yang dibenci, dia masih lagi belum jadi orang yang dibenci, dan dia tak reti nak cakap dengan Ezra macam mana. Sebab dia tak tahu, dia belum boleh maafkan diri dia. Dia tahu dia tak boleh terima jawapan dia sebab she was very selfish. I don't care, I just want to see Ezra. Because if I find Ezra, then whatever this conflict boleh settle. Sebab Ezra boleh tolong aku settle benda ni. Apa-apa nak jadi keliling kita, sebab Ezra ada, kita boleh settle. That was like the biggest long shot that she took. And put the entire fucking galaxy at risk. Because dia tak boleh nak accept benda tu. Dia tak boleh nak macam, maybe she felt that I can do something, I should have done something. Ezra didn't need to sacrifice himself like that. So bila dia dapat peluang, bila Balance Call kata, kau bagi aku peta tu. Kalau kau bagi aku peta tu, kita boleh jumpa Ezra sama-sama. So for her, that opportunity to move on from the last 10 years of her life is huge. And why do I say this? The first scenes of Ahsoka Season 1 in Episode 1 was all about Sabine punya backstory. So actually, this series is all about Sabine. So if anything, the last episode might just be Sabine doing the next big thing to try and fix this whole thing. And if Dave nak belanja kita lagi, benda yang dia cuba buat tu fuck up, atau the opposite of the intended effect happen, or kalau Dave tak nak belanja kita, dia tak bagi kita benda ni, and Sabine just does something whatever, and then Ezra overcomes everything because Ezra is Ezra. So this is what I see from that scene lah. And I think it's the right thing to do because it follows very closely with whatever Ahsoka went through with her final lesson. It's not about the Jedi, it's not about the lightsabers, it's not about the Force. It is about you knowing when to blame yourself and taking enough blame and feeling enough guilt and not trying to take more. Okay, then you kena accept. Orang yang buat salah boleh accept, kau yang tak buat salah, yang kau tak boleh accept ni kenapa? So lepas Ahsoka jadi macam tu, lepas tu kita tengok Ezra jadi macam tu, then Sabine will have a very nice surrounding for her to start her Padawan training betul-betul lah, proper lah. Because she will be Ahsoka punya Padawan, where Ahsoka dah jadi putih dan dia dah tahu macam mana nak ajar betul-betul dengan lagi elok, and Ezra will be around to like Sabine macam ni, Sabine macam ni. And then Sabine will find her peace lah. So I feel that this is what it is about. Cuma I don't know how true that is. Maybe I'm a bit more attached to Rebels than I expect. But I feel that this could be it lah, because kalau kau tengok especially gambar yang kau ambil ni, Nick, kau tengok muka Ahsoka, kau tengok muka Ezra, these are happy faces, happy contented faces. So you have to give props to the actors and director. Kalau kau tengok muka Sabine, and again very good directing, muka dia mesti ada something yang macam, dia bukan tak tenang, tapi there's something at the back of her mind. She never really looks truly contented or peaceful. And Ahsoka, you can see the change immediately after dia punya final lesson tu. The way she smiles, her eyes just look different. And Ezra, the first apa nama scene kita nampak Ezra, dia dah memang muka macam ni, muka berseri. Padahal kau dah tersat kat situ tahun kot. Kau relax gila babi. So they found peace lah. So and this is the bit punya story look. It might just be this, I don't know. But I kind of hope it is. Then mungkin siapa tanya tadi Jamal then maybe if that is true, then maybe we'll get lah that, you know, cinta berputik thing, you know. I don't know. Boleh lah, boleh.
Yeah,
Boleh.
Tapi
kalau dia orang
lah,
betul couple, kalau betul dia couple, anak dia orang confirm lawa dan handsome lah, babi. Shit man.
Aduh. Betul. Tapi yes, aku rasa dalam episod ni kita nampak there's a lot of guilt dengan Sabine Wren. It's like she's holding on to a lot of guilt. So I hope that gets a payoff sometime next week.
Aku rasa if Filoni were to show whatever that payoff is, it will be a way where Sabine tried to do something or in a desperate way. Lepas tu benda tu mungkin akan mengkantuikan semua orang, tapi in that very very pivotal moment, Ezra atau Ahsoka or both was around and she expected them to, you know, tembak dia, fire dia, marah dia. At that really really critical moment, they forgive her. Because you are the Sabine that we know. This is the Sabine that we know. We expect nothing less of you. If you tak buat benda ni, I tak jumpa Ezra. Dan since I jumpa Ezra, Tron ke, tak Tron ke, we can fix this. And I wouldn't have done this. Huyang wouldn't have done this. Anybody else, Hera wouldn't have done this. You seorang je yang akan dengar cakap balance call dah bagi mat, tapi that kerana you buat benda tu lah, I kalah kat balance call, I jumpa Pergil, I boleh ni, I dapat ilham nak pergi sana, kita jumpa PERIDEA and whatever balance call is waiting for happen. This would have only happened wouldn't have happened if not for you. I have a feeling that it might be that moment where Sabine, you need to own who you are because we accept you for who you are. So I think if that does happen, then you will see the first time Sabine tiba-tiba dia force sensitive. If you know, it might just be as simple as pushing a lightsaber away from Balon's skull, or Thrawn nak bawa keluar pistol, ataupun ada stormtrooper nak tembak somebody and then they just tepis stormtrooper tu. It might just be that because she accepted herself, and I think this is very consistent with Jedi punya teachings. You memang kena, it's not about being peaceful, it's about accept who you are. Mace Windu accepted who he is. That's why he's like fucking strong, bro. Sebab dia tahu aku macam ni, tapi aku ada disiplin Jedi. So I have a feeling, I hope it's there lah. Because if that's the case, then shit, kita kena belanja weh. Walaupun episode 7 tak best sangat lah, tapi kita kena belanja.
Alright, so untuk segmen ni kita ada 4 soalan. Soalan pertama daripada Firaya, iaitu Syaz. Adakah Ezra telah mencapai maturity in Jedi teachings yang lebih tinggi daripada Luke? Kau kena faham, for the past 10 years, he's been alone on this other side of the galaxy without a teacher, without a mentor. So I don't think so. I think Luke went through a lot more in the past 20 plus years. So,
tapi aku nak tanya Firaya, adakah bila you tanya maturity ni, maturity dari segi fizikal ataupun dari segi force ataupun dari segi lawan-lawan? Sebab kalau dari segi fizikal, Ezra lagi mature daripada Luke. Kau tengok janggut dia.
Space Jesus.
Bodoh lah. Space Jesus.
Betul. Jesus is here. Okay, so dengan itu kita akan ke 3 soalan terakhir daripada Jamal. So Jamal bertanya, suka ke idea di mana Hera, Sabine dan semua boleh rasa the Force? To me agak tak sesuai. Well, kau kena ingat Hera is mother to Jason yang Force sensitive, dan married to Kanan yang juga Force sensitive. So maybe dia dapat rasa the Force. And Sabine she has held the black saber before, so it kind of like it's an evolution of Sabine. So to me it's okay. Siapa-siapa nak tambah? Anybody?
Tak ada orang lain dalam Rebels boleh rasa the Force, so aku okay je.
Actually aku tak ada masalah kalau macam Sabine okey lah, Sabine tu tak ada masalah sangat sebab dia pun memang dalam Rebels memang dia dah tunjuk dah pun dia train bila dia train pegang dark saber apa semua tu. But Hera aku taklah kata aku ada masalah, but there's something a bit weird about it lah. Ada something is a bit weird about it sebab bila kau bagi dekat Hera means that Hera aku tahu is a great character but he's not a Jedi, he's not a force sensitive character. Dia tak macam Sabine ke apa benda ke. Daripada Rebels pun dah tunjuk macam tu. She's just a pilot je. So it's hard to make her relate with force just because dia punya husband adalah Jedi, anak dia pun Jedi. So dia kena rasa force. Atau aku agak tak apa agree sangat sebenarnya. But macam aku cakap, aku tak ada apa masalah sangat dengan benda ni because the series is good. So just that berhati-hati, janganlah sampai nanti sekarang in the future semua orang pun ada force sensitive, which ni memang betul.
Itulah
semua
Ryan
orang ada force.
Itu yang apa Ryan Johnson cuba buat.
Ya, itu apa yang Johnson cuba. Means that semua orang ada force dalam diri, but not everyone is force sensitive. So janganlah terlalu over the top sangat dengan benda tu kan. So
Tapi,
on the Hera punya patut aku.
With regards to Hera, aku tak risau lah. Sebab apa? Dia bukan force sensitive pun. Because bila babak yang dia anak dia kata, Mami, can't you hear that? Dia tak dengar pun. Dia tak dengar, dia tak mencari pun benda tu. Dia tengah fikir, okay, sekarang ni diorang pergi kat mana? Nanti bila Ziono, lupa, aku tak nak ingat nama dia. Ziono Senator tu bising-bising, aku nak jawab apa. Dia fikir benda tu je, dia tak boleh detect. Anak dia yang boleh detect. Lepas tu anak dia kena cakap, Mama tak dengar ke? Cuba dengar betul-betul. Kita tak ada proof pun yang Hera dengar benda tu. Tapi apa yang Hera dapat dengar adalah dia percaya anak dia. Apa yang kita nampak, dia percaya anak dia. So, benda tu dah menunjukkan yang satu, Hera tak sensitif. Kalau dia sensitif pun dia tak tahu. Dia tak tahu sebab dia tak kisah benda ni. Dia adalah administrator. Dia adalah operator. Dia bukan administrator. Dia adalah operator yang sangat cekap. Sangat-sangat cekap. Characters like her should have been written in episode 7, 8, 9. Walaupun tak penting. Ini adalah operator yang best. They are the glue that keeps the rebel ke the resistance ke whatever together. Orang-orang macam ni.
Yeah.
Space Mommy.
Space Mommy.
Alright, second last question daripada Jamal yang bertanya, adakah korang setuju jika anak Ezra Bridger, anak Cal Kestis ataupun anak Canon lebih sesuai sebagai sequel trilogy main lead dan ambil alih selepas Skywalker story tamat di episod 11 tanpa kewujudan Rey dan semua under influence control? I think what we're going to see dengan
9.
Oh, sorry. 9. Is that 9? 9 is IX, not XI. XI is 11.
Yeah, this is 11. XI 11.
Yeah, he was referring to 9 but he wrote it 11.
Oh, okay. So basically
Jamal kan? Jamal tahu lah apa tu.
Okay, aku rasa
aku typo.
apa yang kita akan tengok dengan episod 10 nanti, episod 10 di mana Rey akan membuka sekolah memandu ialah anak murid dia ni adalah anak-anak Ezra Bridger, anak Cal Kestis dan
Jauhnya.
Abi macam lagi nak jadi anak murid. Kau kena cari force sensitive people.
Oh, anak Jason tu anak. Okay.
Yeah, so
Grogu mana? Grogu pun.
Yeah,
It is a chance he comes back.
Maybe dia jadi administrator ke, budak sirap ke dekat sekolah tu, maybe lah. So I think we're going to see that in episode 10. Yeah.
Actually they should do that sebenarnya. Itulah satu kesilapan Disney ni bila dia buat sequel trilogy when it is a product from Kathleen Kennedy and product from JJ Abrams semua tu. Problem with producer, problem with director yang kind of macam suka buat cerita sendiri apa semua. They tend to like to make their own characters. Actually sama je dengan Dave Filoni pun sama. Dave Filoni is the same. Dia always suka buat karakter dia sendiri. Tapi kalau macam Dave Filoni, even Dave Filoni pun menghadapi backlash juga waktu dia buat Clone Wars. Tadi dia buat Ahsoka. Why kau buat Ahsoka? Kenapa kau tak fokus pada Anakin? Kenapa tak fokus pada Obi-Wan sahaja? Atau kau buatlah cerita. Ayolah, macam tu lah. Tiba-tiba center of the stage is Ahsoka. Because why? Because Ahsoka is dia punya karakter. Dia yang create that animation. Walaupun sebenarnya animation tu juga daripada buah fikiran George Lucas. Samalah dengan Kathleen Kennedy, dengan J.J. Abrams, dengan Rian Johnson. Semua nak create karakter dia orang sendiri. Tapi takkanlah suddenly tiba-tiba diorang bila nak buat episod 9, episod 7, episod 8, dia fikir macam, oi, daripada Star Wars Rebels, daripada Clone Wars ni dah ada banyak watak-watak yang ada ni, kita masukkan dekat dalam kita punya filem, kita buat anak-anak diorang ni jadi ni. Diorang takkan buat macam tu. That's the problem bila kau terlalu banyak sangat all the hate semua ni, orang-orang yang macam semua nak buat kepala sendiri. So end up jadi macam apa yang kita dapat sekarang. So kalau kita tanya aku, setuju tak kita nak buat Ezra, nak Cal, anak canon apa semua? Bagi sebagai fan, kita rasakan macam kita okey dengan benda tu. Tapi masalahnya yang membuatkan cerita ni is not, walaupun diorang fan, tapi diorang still nak gunakan kepala diorang sendiri. Diorang tak fikir pun macam nak guna karakter daripada apa yang Filoni buat, apa yang Lucas buat, apa semua tu. Diorang tak fikir benda-benda macam itu. So kalau tanya aku, memang aku setuju dengan benda macam tu. Dan aku percaya is that even the sequels punya karakter dapat banyak backlash, tapi in the future this character probably we gain some love macam apa yang karakter-karakter daripada prequels pun hadapi sebelum ni. People will gonna love. Actually honestly aku suka what Daisy Ridley as Rey. Aku suka Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron.
Poe is very nice.
Adam Driver as Kylo is damn good bagi aku. Semua all the characters, all the actors apa semua tu. Cuma that aku punya terkilan sikit pasal the sequel trilogy is that the character macam apa yang Filoni buat, maybe Filoni dia ada medium animation. So bila dia beri dia animation, dia mempelbagaikan the characters tau. Dia bukan all humans. Kau tengok the Ghost Crew pun ada Hera as Twilight, and then ada Z. So semua ada alien race. Tapi masuk kat sequels, masuk kat dalam versi live action, kau tak boleh nak buat aliens as main characters. So kalau Filoni, kalau daripada awal dia tengok waktu dia nak buat the sequel trilogy, dia fikir, kita dah ada Filoni kan? Filoni one of the memang prominent members of Lucasfilm yang memang dah buat Clone Wars, dah buat Rebels apa semua tu. Apa kata kita nak buat sequel trilogy? Just ambil dia as a writer, ambil dia as a producer. Of course, Filoni akan bawa watak-watak yang dia dah buat apa semua ni. But problem is that bukan dia yang buat. Bila bukan dia yang buat, itulah yang kita dapat apa-apa yang diberikan daripada Kathleen Kennedy, daripada J.J. Abrams semua ni. So every character yang kau tengok, yang macam dalam episod 7, karakter macam yalah Poe Dameron and then Finn apa semua tu is from J.J. Abrams. Tapi bila masuk dekat episod 8, suddenly the character General Holdo, Admiral Holdo tu yang sepatutnya kau bagi dekat the existing character yang dah ada sebelum ni, like Admiral Akbar ke benda ke, but kau bagi dekat Admiral Holdo yang tak pernah muncul daripada filem-filem sebelum ni. Why? Because it's a character created by Rian Johnson. So itulah dia, susah kita nak buat macam tu kalau ada orang-orang yang nak buat watak-watak dia sendiri.
Aku nak tambah Hady. Aku suka point kau. Dan I like the fact that you petik Ahsoka, and it's easy lah sebab memang Ahsoka pun yang kita duk sembang sekarang ni. Filoni tak introduce Ahsoka terus dalam masa dia buat Clone Wars. Dia dapat mandat nak buat the Clone Wars tu dulu. Lepas tu dia flash out the story first, and then kalau kau tengok sekarang lah, masa orang kita tonton Ahsoka dulu, especially masa the first season yang Ahsoka keluar, the first 2 seasons tu, banyak orang kritik dah, orang tak suka, annoying lah budak ni dan sebagainya. Betul, benda tu tak salah. But bila Filoni buat macam tu, and especially kita ambil dalam konteks sekarang kita dah tengah tengok dan kita tengah bedah Ahsoka punya series, dan sekarang ni kedudukan Ahsoka sebagai seorang watak Star Wars adalah kedudukan yang sangat stabil. Banyak orang suka Ahsoka. As a matter of fact, banyak orang berterima kasih pada Ahsoka. Bila kau tengok sebab kenapa benda ni berlaku, it is because Ahsoka had very strong character moments in the Clone Wars punya story, and then dalam Rebels dia lah fulcrum, and then sekarang kita dapat series dia. Dan kalau kau tengok Fulcrum dengan The Rogue One, Rebels dengan The Rogue One punya relationship, and then kita tengok dengan bagaimana kesinambungan benda tu dengan The Sequel Trilogy, engkau akan sedar yang kedudukan Ahsoka ni adalah satu kedudukan yang penting. Might not be sebesar Obi-Wan Kenobi, dia bukan sebesar Count Dooku ke siapa-siapa ke, tapi kedudukan dia penting. Kenapa? Kerana dia memainkan peranan besar dalam menggerakkan plot. Meaning daripada satu bahagian ke satu bahagian. Kalau Ahsoka tak ada, what would be Anakin Skywalker's character arc? Tak ada. Sebab macam mana takkan kau nak buat cerita Luke Skywalker setiap episod kena ada Obi-Wan Kenobi? Tak boleh. Jedi Master diorang kena pecah. So how do you tell people how Luke is evolving as a character, how he is developing as a character, if you do not have a storyteller punya thing? How if you do not have a marker? Ahsoka was created for that. Sebab tu bila kita tengok balik, a lot of very important Ahsoka moments, dia overlap dengan very important moments sepanjang 7 seasons of Clone Wars. Sebab banyak benda yang berlaku pada Ahsoka adalah benda yang turut berlaku pada Anakin. Tetapi reaksi kedua-dua watak ni berbeza. Kerana perwatakan, karakter diorang lain-lain. Dan diorang punya interaksi pun lain. Dan Anakin ada dia punya motif dia. Anakin ada dia punya emosi dia. Ahsoka ada dia punya motif dia. Walaupun motif tu masa tu dia muda lagi. Dia tak tahu apa hala tuju hidup dia. But because benda ni bertembung, dua-dua watak ni bertembung dalam dunia diorang sebagai padawan dan master, dalam Jedi, dalam Empire semua ni, that was basically one thing leads to another, dan what the story that we have been watching berlaku. So momen-momen penting dalam karakter Ahsoka punya development overlaps with Anakin punya important moments, which is why Ahsoka rasa bersalah. But and this is why Filoni created Ahsoka, because he cannot tell the story of Anakin completely if he cannot tell the story of Ahsoka, which is why Ahsoka punya character did not appear in the first 3 seasons of the Clone Wars. She appeared later. Because as he was fleshing out the story, he realised sebagai seorang penulis cerita, kadang-kadang kau kena ada satu suara yang tak ada kena-mengena dengan Jedi, tak ada kena-mengena dengan Empire, dan suara tu kena macam menjadi satu cermin kepada Anakin, menjadi cermin kepada Jedi punya council, menjadi cermin kepada Empire, menjadi mewakilkan penduduk-penduduk seantero galaksi dan Empire. Tak ada watak yang sebegitu, tetapi cerita ni tentang orang-orang ni. So sebab tu watak macam Ahsoka dia buat. So this was dan Filoni hanya buat bila dia dah tahu apa yang dia buat dengan The Clone Wars tu betul dan dah mendapat kepercayaan daripada Lucas and team. When he got the Clone Wars right, only then we saw Ahsoka. And even then, as much as everybody who watched the seasons yang Ahsoka start appear, dia boleh terima setiap episod, dia boleh terima apa yang berlaku, dia still marah Ahsoka tak ada dalam canon sebelum ni. Kenapa kena buat Ahsoka boleh je cerita macam ni? And then bila dah masuk season 5, season 6 baru macam shit, Ahsoka ni penting gak sebenarnya? Sebab kalau Ahsoka dengan Anakin punya conversations tak berlaku, then you tak ada the commentary on what was happening, you tak ada Anakin punya growth, you tak nampak kat mana Anakin lari. Sebab bila ada budak padawan cakap kat you, tadi semalam you ajar macam ni, kenapa hari ni you buat macam ni? Oh hari ni lain. Macam mana boleh hari ni lain semalam lain? Oh Ahsoka, I cannot tell you that. Then kita nampak konflik Anakin. Then kita nampak Anakin punya konflik dekat mana. So benda ni penting. That's why Filoni is the good storyteller. Tapi mungkin dalam Star Wars je lah dia bagus. So bila orang macam Rian Johnson dia datang, J.J. Abrams dia datang, kita nak buat karakter baru because kita nak buat cerita baru. Bila you tak pernah memasak dalam dapur Star Wars, lepas tu you nak letak karakter baru semata-mata kerana kena letak karakter baru untuk new fans. Masa Star Wars tayang in the 80s, tak ada fan langsung pun. Dia boleh je tengok, dia suka je Luke Skywalker, dia suka je Leia, dia suka je Han Solo. Tak perlu explain diorang ni siapa. So kenapa kau nak takut sangat bila orang tengok, oh cerita ni sambungan Clone Wars, kenapa kau nak takut sikit-sikit Luke Skywalker, sikit-sikit? Kenapa kau nak takut benda tu? Faham tak? So the excuse of bila diorang rasa diorang nak buat creator watak baru, they are not creating that. Macam Dave Filoni kata, okay lah, bila aku nak buat Clone Wars ni, kalau tak ada Ahsoka, aku dapat 4 season cukup. Tapi kita kena tarik 6 season ni, 7 season ni, baru betul cerita ni. Baru dia boleh cover episode 1 to 3. So macam mana kita nak make sure ada connective issue? Macam mana kita nak tahu arc cantik? Macam mana kita nak meletakkan Anakin dalam kedudukan macam ni, dalam macam ni, dan macam ni, dan macam ni? Macam mana kita nak buat filler episode? Filler episode tu tak boleh filler je, dia kena ada meaning, dia kena lead to something. Nampak tak? There's so many things he had to think. So bila kau bagi kat JJ Abrams, lepas tu Ryan Johnson, betul JJ Abrams balik nak betulkan, filem kau 3 jam, 9 jam. Tapi kau nak bina dunia baru dengan watak-watak baru, dengan cerita-cerita baru, tapi kau ada 9 jam je kau nak cerita benda tu, memang takkan boleh lah. So bila diorang gagah juga nak buat macam tu, diorang degil lah, dia degil je sebenarnya benda tu. When in fact dia boleh je ambil satu cerita daripada Legends. Benda lain yang Legends tu yang dia dah yang tak boleh pakai yang non-canon, kau tinggal. Kau ambil je satu cerita daripada situ, lepas tu kau suruh JJ Abrams bagi dia punya spin. Boleh je. Tak nak juga. This is it. Ni yang banyak orang pertikaikan. Kenapa kau nak kena buat macam ni? Siapa yang kau nak cuba impress? Kan? And then bila kau buat macam ni, kalau kau ambil Legends, kau buat tak betul, orang just kutuk Legends dah ada, kenapa buat salah? Bila kau buat benda baru yang tak ambil daripada mana-mana dan jadi salah, orang marah 2 kali. Dah lah tak nak ambil Legends, buat tak betul. Faham tak? So this is where, and this is why Ahsoka is important, because Filoni knows that I need a character that can tell the story, that has a story, and that can affect all the characters around them. This is and I feel that the proof that he did the right call is tonight. Kita duk sembang pasal Ahsoka episod 7. 5 years ago, kita mana terbayang Ahsoka akan ada dia punya own series. Dave Filoni, when he created Ahsoka, he did not even think of doing a live action Star Wars series on Ahsoka. At one point, the most hated character in Star Wars sebelum KK. Come on. So I think this is the difference lah. This is the difference. Jadi there is dah makin lama makin susah. So in his own way, dia tengah checkmate the sequel trilogy. There is no way now you can really justify the storytelling choices ke the plot choices. It's very hard. Because Filoni is showing you, yeah, we can do it. This is how you do it. You just felt that you wanted to do it yourself in your own way, and now you proved over close to 10 years that it did not work. And now you just gonna eat the humble pie and then get out of this damn cafe, let somebody else cook. You just have to do that.
Betul.
That's it.
Betul. It's like when the bukan saja mainstream audience, tapi even when the fans don't really care about your cast of characters.
Kalau fans marah tu okey lagi tau, because dia invested. Bila fans dah tak kisah, means dah tak ada hati, bro.
Yeah, it's like why you still do business, why you still got your job. Itulah. Alright, last 2 questions. Shaz menambah, adakah Shin Hati fulfill the role yang sama as Ahsoka to reflect that even the good or dark or fallen side of the Force sebenarnya bukan pure black and white? Yes, I think that's the role of balance, Call dan juga Shin Hati, to show that there is, the Force is a spectrum. It's just because yang kau guna orange lightsaber, kau bleed tak sampai merah, and then kau Balin banyak kali cakap the Jedi is a good idea but it has been tainted. I want to go back to the beginning. So yes, that is exactly the role of Balin Skull dan juga Shin Hati. And I see that Balin is what is to Ahsoka sama dengan Shin Hati is to Sabine. So dia ada the master and padawan punya relationship. Macam tu lah. Alright, so dengan itu kita soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini. I think at the end of the day,
dia nak juga Marajit.
Jawapan dia tidak, aku tak nak Shin Hati jadi Marajit. I actually want Marajit in
Marajit.
Star Wars. Yeah, and aku punya dream casting is Jessica Chastain as Marajit.
Whoa.
Siapa?
Jessica
Whoa, you got taste, bro.
Chastain. Yeah, Jessica Chastain. Itu yang.
She's got chops. She's got chops.
Alright,
She
so
has got acting chops.
She does. So she will bring something interesting to the role.
Sangat.
Bukan hanyalah wife ataupun the significant.
Aku rasa dia kena ambil orang tua yang sama bayar dengan Mak Hamil. Lepas tu DH.
Itulah. Maybe lah. I don't know. We'll see. Alright. Dengan itu berakhirlah 3 plot menarik untuk episod Ahsoka minggu ini. Sekarang kita akan ke harapan untuk episod minggu depan.
Oh, sorry. Harapan Okay. Untuk next episode, of course, finally harapan tu tinggi lah. There's a lot of hope untuk episod yang terakhir. But aku tak tahu, bila kita dah dapat di episod 7 ni, aku rasa macam nak kena lowkan sikit expectation, which is bad sebenarnya, quite bad sebenarnya bila kita nak lowkan kita punya expectation ni. Sebab aku selalu cakap kata why we must lower our expectation. Kenapa tak the series just give what we want? Macam tu selalunya aku rasa kan. Kenapa nak kena low expectation? Tapi ya, aku just berharap that this is not the only season. Aku harap akan ada upcoming season untuk Ahsoka ni. Dan please, aku tak nak cakap lebih. Harapan aku the apa dia punya conclusion lah, apa benda semua. Just that please don't kill off Tron. Itu je. Don't kill off Tron. Please.
Definitely.
Alright.
Definitely. Rugi. Seterusnya, silakan Darren.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing as Hady said. Like, don't kill off Tron. Like, we've got him back in live action. We've already, especially to new viewers, they're experiencing this for the first time. It's really bad if they suddenly killed him off in the final episode. And yeah, we haven't been talking about Tron all that much this discussion, kan?
Betul lah.
So I was, yeah.
He just had Zoom
I
calls,
would
man.
say-
He just did Zoom calls the whole
To me,
fucking
Zoom
episode.
No. I think kita kena petik Tron. I think Justin brought him up. Baru aku teringat. Sebab aku perasan how quietly shocked and afraid he was when he learned that Ahsoka's master was Anakin Skywalker.
because he knows. He has met Anakin before in the novels.
Yes.
He even knows that Vader is Anakin.
Yeah.
So he has a reason to be afraid of Ahsoka now.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I will say though, I think this episode really nailed Tron. Like where people see defeat, Tron sees it as a lesson to learn. So I think that's really on point of his character. So for all this episode's faults, I'm really liking how they handled Tron in this one. Zoom calls it all.
Alright. Seterusnya Jamal, your hopes for the finale next week.
Sejam setengah itu saja. I just hope that it is 1.5 hour episode. That's it.
Yes.
Because the way I see it, if it's 1.5 hours, it means there's a lot that Dave held back, Filoni held back before he gave it to us. Meaning whatever we will see in Dave's eyes, the setup has already been given in the first 7 episodes. So it will be fun. Korek balik in the first 7 episodes, where was the breadcrumbs and all that. So if it's 1.5 hours, it means we will get a lot of things, a lot of information, a lot of revelations. If it's 1.5 hours, then we know it feels like a finale, meaning something important will happen. It will it will move on to a next big, it will mean something big. It will be meaningful. Somebody dying ke, somebody being force sensitive ke, we find out the secrets of the force ke, apa benda ke. So many things can happen. Or Shin going over to the other side ke, Balon Skull mati tapi sebenarnya dia ada secret Jedi mission because he was part of a secret Jedi circle yang macam, okay, kalau Jedi semua mati apa jadi? Okay, korang 18 orang ni, korang kena buat benda ni. Kalau tidak, kalau korang tak buat, the Jedi will pupus. So korang bila temple jatuh, korang kena ada secret mission. You guys have to distance yourself, whatever, you know, maybe there's something like that you don't know, something covert. But if it's 1.5 hours, it means Dave Filoni has things to tell us. So that's all I want. Because if we get anything between 1 hour to 1.5 hours, it just means that, okay, there's a lot of shit. So that's all I want.
If it's 1.5 hours, means I cannot watch it on lunch break.
Yeah, man.
You make a phone call, bro.
Alright guys, so dengan itu aku rasa berakhirlah segmen kita malam ini. Terima kasih kepada para panelis, terima kasih juga kepada para penonton. Jumpa kami minggu depan di mana kita bakal membincangkan finale untuk Ahsoka Season 1. Alright guys, majulah fandom untuk negara. Bye guys.